Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on our live show today, Jack Jones to Las Vegas. But Mitch, the Raiders don't need to sign another former Patriot player. I'll tell you whether or not the Silver and Black should sign the former Patriots corner that was just released on Monday. Antonio Pierce was born to be a Raiders coach. I'm going to tell you which NFL analyst, I don't even know if he's an NFL analyst, I'm going to tell you what analyst said that. Then, Raiders against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to give you a preview and a prediction. Big time Week 11 game. As always, if we have any questions, comments, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. And then at the very, very end of today's show, we will be doing a 50-50 raffle, $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 for a spot to get in. I do want to warn y'all, I am going to wear some jerseys today, but if you can't tell, I feel like crap. I am super, super sick, so no boots are going to be going down today. Not even if I hit the gong. I do got to say that off the top, but I don't take days off here because I know the nation does either, so that's why I'm here. All right, y'all, let me know. Drop your area code down in the comments. Before the show started today, I saw a few people saying, like, man, it's really, really cool to see how far and wide the nation always spreads. And the more and more this show continues to grow, I mean, shit, we've gained over 7,000 subscribers in the last 28 days. So for the new people that are here, I want to show y'all how the nation gets down. And I don't know if I should introduce Jeremy Chuggs or Wreck-It Chuggs, but if everybody could welcome in my good friend, my co-host, and Luis Rodriguez is already in. I mean, Luis Rodriguez, I met the king of the duck races, Nico Laz, over the weekend. But let me know where you guys are tuned in from right now. I got Zalesbo. What's up, Zalez? 505. Blue Richards in the 702. Amari from the 310. What shirt you rock? What shirt are you rocking there?
Just a Michael Mayer Wreck-It shirt.
Dude, this is freaking sick. So I had a Raider fan hit me up on IG, and they were like, Mitch, would you ever show our Raider shirt on your show? And I was like, hell yeah, man, I absolutely would. And the bottom line is this show is built on the backs of the nation. If you got something cool and you want to be able to show it here on the Raiders Report, hit me up on IG. I do check my DMs, and I try to do it as frequently as possible. But these are really, really sick shirts, and anytime we get to show off something that the nation makes, I'd love to be able to do it. And what's crazy is we got them in the mail, I think I got them yesterday, the day after Michael Mayer scores his very first touchdown.
Jay Silk said, it was me.
Jay Silk. Okay, you know what? The Silk name, you're right, because it was sense. Silk. Well, it was Silk like screening or something like that on IG. So Jay Silk, yo, my brother, thank you so much. I just got the shirt.
Grade the shirt. A, B, C, D, or F. Wreck-It Mayer.
I'm not going to lie. I don't. Jeremy knew it right away. I actually thought it was Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you win some and you lose some. But personally, man, they came out really good, so hell of a job on your part. Robert Jansen, A. Queen Sarah Otto from the 417. Matt Solomon, A. Michael Garcia, A. Silk, if you want to put where people can buy them, put the link down in the comments. And if it blocks it, just like maybe you click on it and then we can put it in the copy. So if anybody wants to get one of those Wreck-It Mayer t-shirts, I think at the end of the day, man, we're all on here because we love the nation, but we're a family here. So if you want to go support Silk, please, Silk, don't be afraid. Put that link down there and maybe people can click on it. All right, man, we got 500 people tuned in right now to the Raiders Report. We got a big-time game against the Dolphins, man. Big-time game this week against the Dolphins. Our Dolphins host has been talking hella shit, and you know what? For that reason, give me the less on Tua Tagovailoa on the passing yards. I went a little different this week from what I've been going with because the yardage, I just feel like it's so hard to predict every single week with the silver and black. So this week on PrizePicks, and if anybody else wants to get going on PrizePicks as well, remember, #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. And if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS, you're going to be able to get a first-time deposit up to $100. That link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. But to me, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs scoring a touchdown and Daniel Carlson more on the field goals. I mean, I think 2 field goals for Daniel Carlson. The way that this Raiders team has moved the football with Antonio Pierce, they're definitely having more scoring opportunities. And then the defense has played well.
I don't know why, but is it just me or
Cheers, Sheffy.
Does Daniel Carlson in this photo, does he look like one of the bad guys
In every
from
movie.
Mighty Ducks 2? Like the Swedish team? He looks like the Swedish coach. Right?
They were like the Vikings or
Yes.
something. They were something like
Remember?
that. Iceland.
Doesn't he look just like that guy?
I mean, Daniel Carlson looks like the villain in every single 90s movie I watched. I mean, and you know what? He's a bad, bad man. Also, Scheffler, I saw the super chat. Said, get well, Mitch. Appreciate it. Also, Chef, the Alex jersey just came in, the Castillo Raiders one. So, Scheffler, I don't know if you remember, this is like, I think a long time ago, Chef bought Alex a Raiders Report jersey.
That's lit.
So she just got it. We're going to wash it, and then I'll get a picture. That way you guys can see my fiance rocking her brand new Raiders jersey, courtesy of that man right there, John Scheffler.
Hit me up on Twitter, because I have a couple more T-shirt ideas for you. I don't know. I thought you did such a good job with this one.
I'll say Jeremy's like, yo, where's that shirt? I'm wearing it today.
Dude, we literally got the shirts today. I was like, I'm wearing it.
They got that new shirt smell, you know what I mean? Like fresh out of the box.
Jay Silk, hit me up on Twitter.
Smells like a baby, fresh out of the box.
Hit me up on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs, Jay Silk. I might have a couple more ideas for you.
I like it. Should the Raiders sign Jack Jones? I want you to be the GM. I'm not going to lie. We haven't said you be the GM in a question since the Raiders fired Ziegler. I literally almost just said, yo, you guys go be Dave Ziegler. Let me know. Yes or no. Don't be Ziegler because he doesn't have a job anymore, though. I feel like he got the raw end of the stick a little bit, but that's what happens when you tie your name to Josh McDaniels. I want you to be Champ Kelly. Should the Raiders sign Jack Jones? Give me a yes. Or I want you to type your N for no. And if you look at the live poll right now, 76% say yes. Whatever that math ends up being, 24% say no. Raider Roger, no. Juan Hernandez, no. Ken Kenyon, no. Amari, yee. Steven, no.
Yee.
Robert, yes. Yes for the league minimum
Sherry
from Pat
Lynn
Valdez.
says yes.
Natural immunity, nope. Jack Jones, the Patriot way, continues from backup. I'll promise you this. For everybody out there saying no, I'm going to give you some pretty interesting tidbits is what I'm going to call them on why the answer might be yes. I'm not saying that I would. I'm not saying that I'm not. But I'm going to give you a better argument.
Taino says, what's the deal with Sam Webb?
With Sam Webb? I mean, he's just on the practice squad. I am a little bit surprised that he didn't get more run, and he might be a player that does get more run this week. But remember, though, Webb was a McDaniels guy through and through. I think he's a good corner and definitely showed some flashes. But this week, I'm not going to anticipate that you're going to see Amik Robertson out there on the field. Again, he really, really scary concussions. Spam those 21s. I still hope Amik is okay. But I expect that you're going to see some Tyler Hall, Marcus Peters, Nate Hobbs. You're going to see a lot more of Jacorian Bennett with his speed. And, you know, Jacorian has struggled in the covered game, but he has actually, I think, done a halfway decent job against the run. So you need to have another corner on this team. Though there's a part of me that wonders, Chugs, do the Raiders decide instead of throwing out another corner, maybe like a Sam Webb, do you decide to roll with like three safeties? Merrick has played great. Marcus Epps has played great. We really haven't seen much of Chris Smith. Do they decide to go with Isaiah Paulomeo? I mean, the Miami Dolphins, I would say that they're the fastest offense in the NFL. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, if H.N. is on the field, a lot of interesting stuff there as well. So we'll see. Speaking of the Dolphins, what's your confidence level that you're going to beat the Fins this week? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. Anytime the Raiders play on the East Coast in a noon slot, Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, scares me. Every time. It does. The Raiders have struggled in years past. The Dolphins are better at home. But you know what? Everybody, and I mean everybody, was saying interim head coaches don't win the second game. This team to me reminds me so much, and it's not just because of the interim head coach thing. This team reminds me so much of the Bisaccia team, where that Raiders team, they were good. They weren't a playoff team good, but they rallied together, and they were a freaking team. I'm telling you what, I wouldn't want to play the Raiders right now.
Give me Raiders-Vikings Super Bowl.
Wow. Raiders-Vikings Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, I guess if it was Raiders-Lions, we'd probably have to bring Rolly. Rolly does all of our Lion shows. What? We just got Jack Jones? Hell yeah. Let's run that shit. I got the whole show ready to go. Raiders just claimed Jack Jones. Raiders just claimed Jack Jones. Let's run that shit.
Wow.
All right,
That's why he's the best in the business, folks.
all I need is a new thumbnail. All the copy, all that stuff is done. I'm going to tell you guys why Jack Jones claiming, or the Raiders claiming Jack Jones is a good move. Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you why it's a good move. And if anybody out there believes in Antonio Pierce, let me ask you this question right now. Do you believe Antonio Pierce? Y for yes or N for no? That's my question. If the answer to that question is yes, you are going to like the fact that the Raiders just went ahead and they claimed Jack Jones.
All right.
I get it. It's a risky move. I 100% get it. But I promise you this. Can somebody update the live thumbnail and the live title as well? Actually, we're probably still okay. Yeah, we're probably still okay. All right, the Raiders, they went out and claimed Jack Jones. Coming up here on the show, we're going to be breaking down why it was a good move. Now, you're going to have to, adjust the script a little bit. You're going to have to trust me. I still want to use all the graphics that we have from Antonio Pierce, and then that List 4 logo reveal, I can make my way through that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why it would happen. And I know a lot of people out there are saying no, and I hear you because he was a former Patriot. Don't look at Jack Jones as a former Patriot. Look at Jack Jones as somebody that has worked with Antonio Pierce, a player that has got a lot of ties with Antonio Pierce, not just from college, but Antonio Pierce has known Jones since he was 13 years old. And I'm going to show you some quotes here about what Pierce had to say on Jones that are really going to rock your world right now. So Jack Jones to the Raiders, man. Wild stuff. Jack Jones to the Raiders, breaking it down now on the Raiders report. So, interesting stuff. Are we good?
I think so. We'll roll.
Right.
We'll roll with the punches. Just trust me.
We're gonna roll with the punches here a little bit. That first one is gonna be it's not presented by, but it is what, Gametime? I believe it's Gametime.
Yes, sir.
Okay, y'all, coming up here right now on the Raiders report, the silver and black, they just claimed Jack Jones. I'm going to tell you why it was a good move. Cool?
All right.
Cool?
Yeah, hey, I'll get the highlight cut after.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, highlight cut it. Here we go, coming up right now. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And we got some news here to discuss. The Las Vegas Raiders have claimed former Patriots cornerback Jack Jones. And I hear you. A lot of y'all out there are like, oh my goodness, Mitch, I thought once they moved on from Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler that the Patriot way was done. I'm going to look at all of you right now and say this. If you believe in Antonio Pierce, and I want you to type believe down below. If you believe in Antonio Pierce, then this is a good signing, a good claim by the Las Vegas Raiders. So in a surprising move on Monday, the New England Patriots, they decided to move on from cornerback Jones, which was surprising because, let's face it, they drafted him in the 4th round, a very highly touted player when he was first coming out of high school. And the high school connections here with Pierce is one of the reasons why I think that this move here by Jones does make a lot of sense. And when Bill Belichick was asked, why did you decide to move on from him? He was like, I just think it was the right thing to do. And I get it. Bill Belichick, maybe the Patriot way wasn't the right way for Jones. And when you look at how the Patriots are right now and how dysfunctional that franchise is, it doesn't surprise me that a player like Jones, who's got a lot of background issues, had the struggles that he did. Now, this is an article according to ESPN because the reason why Jones was released was the off the field. He is an extremely talented player. He's got a really good athletic build, but the off the field stuff. So according to ESPN, Jones' role diminished over the past 2 games, and he noticeably wasn't engaged with teammates on the sideline at times, sitting on the bench with a towel draped over his head while other reserve defenders stood on the sideline in the event they were unexpectedly thrust into action. So remember, anytime people go away from, the concentration on the field, I'm going to be honest, and I don't blame teams for moving on from them, and Jones hasn't been a reliable player for New England, which is why they moved on. So Jones missed curfew November 4th before the Commanders game. He was also arrested June 16, 2023. The charges were later dropped, and then he spent the first 6 games this season on IR with a hamstring injury. So you got missing curfew, off the field, off-season issues, and now had some injuries with a hamstring. And people are like, And Mitch, you like this move, the former Patriot? Guess what? I believe in second chances for some guys, and I believe so much in Antonio Pierce, which is why I'm okay with this move. And I'll tell you why just a second. So here again from ESPN, the Patriots had supported Jones through charges when he was arrested June 16th after authorities at Boston Logan Airport said they found a Glock box with 2 guns and ammunition inside a bag with Jones's name on it. Prosecutors dropped the gun charges in September after Jones agreed to serve 1 year of pretrial probation and 48 hours of community service on other counts, according to court documents. So here's how I look at it. Jack Jones was released because the Patriots didn't want to have to deal with the headache, and I understand that some people probably just saw me say all that, and they were like, why would you want to do that? Because even when you go back to his time at USC, his very first year at USC, he got in some trouble, something with Panda Express. Maybe you can go ask Coop about it. I don't know. But he got arrested and then had to do some probation time at Panda Express back in like 2016, which is one of the reasons why he ended up getting kicked out of USC, had to go to community college, and then he ended up with Arizona State. So to me, I like this signing of Jones a lot. To me, I see an upside, but to me, this is the Raiders trusting Antonio Pierce, which is maybe why I like it as much as I do. So here's what I want to know. I want to know down below, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, and if you're like, what the hell is a pinned comment? The pinned comment is the number one question I want every single person from Raider Nation to answer. Do you like the signing of Jack Jones? You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. Scroll on down and let me know yes or no. I know I've said this already a few times here, but my answer is yes. If you believe in Antonio Pierce, then the answer should be 100% yes. Antonio Pierce has done a phenomenal job since taking over for McDaniels. He's done a phenomenal job in this locker room. And coming up here on the show, I am going to show you so many reasons why. It's kind of funny. I had this show prepared on live, so when the signing happened, it was like, all right, man, let's get it to it. But I have so many reasons why for a lot of people out there that were saying no, and I get it. You see the Patriots logo. You see a guy that's got a troubled past. I 100% get it. But I believe so much right now in Antonio Pierce that guess what? I'll go to bat for him on this one, and I'll back him up. So in terms of Jones now coming to Las Vegas and some of the reasons why I like it, he played high school football at Long Beach Poly, where Pierce was the head coach. So Pierce was the head coach of that high school program, a very highly touted high school program from 2014 to 2017. Then he went to USC, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but he was like saying as a freshman, oh, I'm going to win the Heisman. He had that confidence. He had that swagger, and you know, what he did in high school, he was able to back it up. Had some problems at USC, got kicked out of school. Then he went to Moore Park Community College, didn't play football there, got his head on straight, studied really hard, and then was able to go to Arizona State. Wait till you see what Antonio Pierce had to do to get him on that football team at Arizona State. So Jones, to me, I look at him, he's got tons of upside. The off-the-field stuff is an issue, and I know the Raiders in years past were a little bit worried about the off-field issue stuff, and of course I am in Las Vegas. But with Antonio Pierce, I believe, and if you don't believe, then hey, you can keep it stepping. If I'm Jack Jones on top of that, the number one place that I would have wanted to go to was the Las Vegas Raiders, because not only do I have an opportunity with an injury like Amik Robertson, he's going to be able to get himself on the practice squad here, but I want to be able to play for Antonio Pierce, a person who I look at as a father figure, a person who, when I've been my best on and off the field, it has been with Antonio Pierce. So coming up here on the show, I'm going to be listing tons and tons of more reasons why it was a good move for the silver and black, and then even more on top of that. I mean, this is why you subscribe. We go live every single Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and when my live show started, I said, hey, should the Raiders sign Jack Jones? I think it could end up happening. 5 minutes later, the Raiders end up claiming Jones off of the waiver wire. So anytime breaking news happens, man, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and I also want to give some shout-outs to some of the real ones in the chat. I know when I ask questions, some of you are like, oh my God, he's asking this again. But I made this show off the idea of when you're hanging out with a bunch of your buddies, chilling at the bar, talking a little bit of sports, that I like that interaction. It reminds me of my family reunions, man, where all we do is talk sports. So Jose, D-Smooth, Darlene, Presidential, Rolly, Mad Vet, Raider. I saw some of your recent comments on the video I dropped this morning. I see you. I appreciate you a lot, and I hope that you all know that I do truly look at the comments. So coming up here on the show, why the signing, or I guess the claiming process of Jack Jones was a good move, not only for Jones, but for the silver and black. Before I break all of that down for you, I got to show some love to today's sponsor, Gametime. If anybody out there is like my fiance and waits till the last minute for everything, Gametime is probably for you. And here's the cool part. You can get $20 off with code RaidersChat. So whatever you're doing right now, I want you to be like, okay, Mitch, why is it good for people who like to procrastinate like me? Well, if you create an account and redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off and download Gametime today, you're going to be able to get last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. You can snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Maybe you want to get tickets to comedy, maybe a theater, NBA, NFL games, all available to you. When I was in Las Vegas this past weekend with my dad and I, we went on the Gametime app, and I was like, yo, you want to do anything? Now, we had other plans and unfortunately couldn't do it, but you can go to a destination. If anybody out there is like, I just want to get away for a weekend, go somewhere, get there, go on the Gametime app. You can look up by city. You can see what type of events are going on, and instead of booking an event and then traveling there, go to a city and then book the event. I think it's a lot more flexible, and that's kind of how I like to live my life, and I think a lot of people out there, especially that go to Las Vegas, are probably the same way. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So coming up here, why the signing is a good move for a bunch of different reasons. Not only for Jack Jones, for the Las Vegas Raiders, but it's also Mark Davis looking at Antonio Pierce and saying, you know what? I trust you. And that's a big, big win in my book. And he deserves it, especially how much he's been able to turn this team around. All right, so why the signing makes some sense. Jones played with Pierce in high school and college football. And, we used to always talk about, oh, this guy's got a tie to McDaniels, this guy's got a tie here. Ties matter in everything that you do. Like, I don't care. What did you do to get your job right now at work? I guarantee you this. Most people out there, they networked, or you were able to meet somebody that got you an interview, or you were able to meet somebody to get you in the right room. I got my job here. I had to meet some people. I had to make some connections, right? And that's part of it. And when you look at a guy like Jack Jones, he has that relationship with Antonio Pierce. And if Antonio Pierce were to stand up here on this podium right now, I bet you he would look at every single one of y'all in the eyes and say, this kid deserves a chance. And if Antonio Pierce is going to say that to you, guess what? He has earned my respect. He has earned my trust. And after seeing what he has been able to do for this team, for this locker room, for this fan base, Antonio Pierce deserves your trust. So listen to this, okay? Once Jack Jones ended up getting kicked out of USC, spent some time at community college, Antonio Pierce wrote an email to Arizona State head coach Herm Edwards, the VP of athletics at Arizona State, and then the school president to get Jack Jones on the Arizona State Sun Devils. And guess what? They listened to him, and they're probably happy because he was a dog out there at Arizona State. This is what Antonio Pierce had to say on Jack Jones. Now, this is not recent. This is much, much earlier in his career, but that's what he said. He needs to be loved. He needs to be guided. He needs guides around him. He needs the support staff academically. You put the pieces in place in front of him, and he'll get it accomplished. So think about a player who got kicked out of USC, was able to go to community college, and then he felt like he had the right pieces around him at Arizona State. And on top of that, during a COVID year, this is what Pierce had to say about Jack Jones with all that going on. With all this COVID, not being in school, to make the dean's list, and to put up a GPA over 3.5 for a kid that I know personally ain't never hit a 3.5, it just speaks volume of his growth and maturity in everything he's overcome. Let's face the facts here, okay? Some people deserve a second chance. Some people don't. And I hear you, and I know some people are going to agree with this. Do people deserve a second chance? 0 for no, 2 for yes. When Antonio Pierce has been involved in this young man's life, and I'm just going to be honest with y'all. My dad is my best friend. I feel like I've had a lot of really, really great people around me. I've had a lot of great father figures. I'm not going to stand up here and talk about Jack Jones' family because I don't know it like that. But I know what type of leader Antonio Pierce is. And when Jack Jones has been paired up with Antonio Pierce, he has been great on and off the field for that reason, I am 100% on board for this move here by the Silver and Black. So, yes, especially when the last time these two got together, it worked. If it was a second chance and you didn't know, and some people are like, what do you mean, second chance and it already worked? If it worked in college, and I think sometimes in college it might even be more difficult because you go from being a young high school athlete to now in college, you're bouncing around. I mean, that's a very difficult time in a lot of people's lives. Don't get me wrong. Now he's a millionaire. He's got some money underneath his belt. But if you're Jones, you're probably looking yourself in the mirror right now and you're like, I want to save my career. He's got a daughter. I want to say she's like 3 years old, and he said in an interview 2 or 3 years ago that that's his motivation. Well, guess what? Now's your opportunity to not only do it for yourself, not only do it for your family, but now you can do it for the Las Vegas Raiders, and you can do it for somebody that you have been able to do it for before. He deserves a second chance. The second reason why I like the move is because I believe in this locker room. I believe right now we have the right people in place to be leaders. And when you get a guy like Josh Jacobs, you got a guy like Devontae Adams, you got a guy like Max Crosby, hell, I'm going to throw Robert Spillane in that conversation because I want to build this defense around 27-year-old Robert Spillane and 27-year-old Max Crosby. But since they moved on from McDaniels, since they've moved on from Dave Ziegler, I know a lot of other people out there are upset that the Raiders are smoking cigars after a win, smoking on that Jets pack, smoking on that Giants pack, and they're like, oh, they're celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl. Why can't players celebrate? Why can't players have a good time? This is a team that feels like they've gone through hell and back with Josh McDaniels. They feel just as exhausted as we did. So you know what? Jack Jones needs leaders. Jack Jones needs Antonio Pierce. Jack Jones needs this Raiders locker room to save his NFL career. And when you're motivated, it's amazing what you can do. Another reason here, he has tons of talent. He has the athletic ability. He needs to put on some weight. I'll be real with you. 5'11", 175 pounds. He's skinny. He's thin. He plays a little bit soft at times. But when you look at the athletic ability, it is 100% there. I mean, there were some scouts out there that said that he could have been a first, second-round talent. Ended up falling, though, in the fourth round because some of those off-the-field issues. And he hasn't done all too much from a career standpoint. 18 games played, a starter in 2, 42 tackles, 7 PBUs, 2 INTs, 3 tackles for loss, a forced fumble. When you look at his PFF grades and 561 snaps, I mean, it's nothing to get too excited about. A 60.6 overall grade, a coverage grade of 62.1, tackling 53.3, and he's allowed 2 touchdowns. But I feel like a broken record. And I feel like I'm just saying it over and over again. It's not that I'm sitting up here and I'm saying I believe in Jack Jones. I believe in Jack Jones because I believe in Antonio Pierce. And if AP says, let's do it, I'm on board, man. I'm riding. And then the final reason here why it does make some sense and why the Raiders should have made this move, they need cornerback depth. The injury that happened to Amik Robertson, man, it was scary. It was really scary. Throw those 21s down in the chat, man. I hope we get an update really, really soon here on Amik. But he left Sunday Night Football after getting kneed in the back of the head. He was in the fencing position. Yes, he was able to walk off the field, but, man, when you see an injury like that, you got to have the understanding of I don't know what to expect going forward. Amik has been a dog. He's been one of the starters, and now you're getting ready to go up against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and an extremely talented Miami Dolphins offense. You need to have some extra depth out there, and if you believe that Jones in this time of need can give you that extra depth, hey, man, we're 5-5. Let's go balls to the wall here. We got the Dolphins, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, and then you got a bye week. So all these reasons why I think it makes sense. So in conclusion, Antonio Pierce wants to sign Jack Jones, and I trust AP to get the most out of him, and I believe it's the best move for Jones on top of that. That's why this move makes sense. That's why the nation should not look at Jones as another former Patriot. Don't look at him like that. I know what jersey he had on. I know what helmet he had on. I know how much we're so against the Patriot way. Don't look at it like that. Look at Jack Jones as an Arizona State Sun Devil with Antonio Pierce. Look at Jack Jones as a high school kid at Cal Poly with Antonio Pierce. If you would run through a wall for Antonio Pierce, it sounds like Jack Jones would run through a wall for AP too. Guess what? Those are the type of players I want on this team. So do you like the signing here of Jack Jones? Give me a yes, give me a no. And when I asked this question a lot earlier on our live show before the news broke that the Raiders made this move? I mean, there were a lot, and I mean a lot of people saying no. Be honest with me now. After seeing a lot of the things that I just showed you, do you not feel a little bit better about the move? Because I was the exact same way. I saw the news, and I saw a lot of people saying, oh, could the Raiders do it? Could they go out and get Jack Jones? So then what did I do? I had to do my homework. And sometimes, you got to do that in life. You got to go above and beyond. You got to sit down. You got to dive into articles that people don't look at. You got to do the extra homework. And AP is worth me doing that extra homework for. Because if I see a connection, I'm going to dive into it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There was a lot of smoke around Jack Jones coming to Las Vegas. And after doing the digging, after finding the things that I saw, I'm going to sleep a lot better tonight knowing that the Raiders made this move, but also that the people that make a lot of big-time decisions looked at Antonio Pierce and said, are you sure you want to do this? AP gave them the nod, and they said, let's make it happen. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing right there, man. Beautiful thing. Vernon Powell says, we'll see. Of course we'll see. I can be as excited as humanly possible up here, and Jack Jones could be a disaster. Like, think about it. Think about how excited we were when the Raiders signed, this is really down the well, Corey Littleton. Finally, we get a Raiders linebacker. And then I was up on the show saying, I don't like the signing of Robert Spillane. You never know how things are going to happen. Things are going to be right. Things are going to be wrong. And that's just how it is when you do a job like this, and that's how it's going to be sometimes when you're a fan. Sometimes you're going to like the move, and it doesn't pan out. Sometimes you're not going to like the move, and it is going to pan out. But the bigger picture to me is that this organization is trusting Antonio Pierce, which is what I like. And the only way that that happens is if you build that relationship with the top down. And that's why this Raiders team, to me, does seem a little bit different. So, man, we got 1,000 people watching the Raiders Report right now. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications, because anytime Raiders news happens, we got you covered here on the show. Not only talking about the move, but why it makes sense, why it's going to impact the Raiders, hopefully in a positive way, why it makes sense because Amik Robertson got hurt. Anybody, and I mean this, anybody can sit up on a show and they can say, the Las Vegas Raiders claim Jack Jones. But you know why you subscribe here? Not only for the interactions in the live chat. Shout out to G-Money. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to Jeff, Evan, Raider Syndicate. Not only for people that send Jeremy and I really freaking awesome T-shirts, but it's for the extra analysis. His relationship with Antonio Pierce. Amik Robertson getting injured. It's the extra little things in there of what separates the Raiders Report, and that's what separates the nation. So, do you like the signing of Jack Jones? Give me a yes, or I want you to give me a no. I need a sip real quick. Hang on. Oh, man. Vincenzo, what's up, my man? If anybody wants to get a question, a comment in, right now around the move of Jack Jones, let me know down below. I see a few super chats that have come in from Scoob, from Nathan Wolf, and then Raider Muerte, which we'll get to. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Aloha, Big Island. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, I want you to spam Raiders down below. Scoob, hey, Mitch, going all the way to Miami for the game. Bro, that is awesome. I am hella jealous. If anybody out there is also going to be going to the game, look for Scoob, look for Shaggy, look for Velma. They're going to be partying, wearing the Raiders gear, so be on the lookout. Let's go to Nathan Wolf. I went to the Jets game 3 years ago with my girl, Jets fan, and had on an Xmas Raiders sweater that lit up touchdown. Couldn't wait to turn it on. Never scored one. I mean, was that the 34-3 game? Because I think I remember that game too, and that was a brutal one. That's the game that you're thinking about, because then there was the Henry Ruggs touchdown one, and now this past year, at least they scored one. Yeah, that's a pretty brutal one. Pretty brutal one out there, Nathan. Also, Nathan, I did get the right Wolf jersey with 2 Fs, so yeah, we did it right. Raider Muerte, sending in the good vibes, my guy. Always good to see you. Venthrak, I actually just got Venthrak's jersey. I'm probably going to be wearing Venthrak's either Thursday or Sunday when the Raiders play the Dolphins. It'll be one of them. I am going to have to change my jersey before I go to the next segment, but I did just get Venthrak's jersey as well. So, Venthrak, shout out to you, man. In case you didn't see it on IG, No, you're good. I got the turnover, Jane. Thanks again. In case you didn't see it, Ben Thrak, I actually shared it to my Instagram at MitchellRenz365. So I did see it. Shout out to you. What up, Steel Cage? This shows we are trying to win right now. It shows that the Raiders understand that Amik is probably not going to play this week, and it shows that they trust Antonio Pierce. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say because the Raiders went out and got Jack Jones that, oh, here we go. He's going to be the savior for us. No, that's not what I'm going to do. To me, it's more of they trust Antonio Pierce to make decisions. What up, Patrick B? It's been a while, but we finally have a full staff we can trust as the nation. Let AP do his thing.
It's been a while.
This has a shot. He wants to knock it out of the park. Just win, baby. I mean, I agree with you where, if you're Antonio Pierce at the end of the season, and let's say the Raiders win a few games, and you're like, I still don't know if they should hire him. If Jones ends up being a solid player that the Raiders went out and signed, if I'm Antonio Pierce, I'm updating my resume. I'm going, I was this much better than Josh McDaniels. I was able to get the locker room together. The Raiders have been selling more tickets at home than they ever have before, and I was able to take a guy like Jack Jones, who's had as cloudy as a past, and went to a team that, guess what, Mark? You thought was able to build and do all these amazing things. He couldn't make it there, but he made it here. That's a big-time win. That's a big-time sell out there. Big-time sell. Also, y'all, at the very end of today's show, we're going to be doing a 50-50 raffle, $10 to get in at Mitchell Renz 365. So if you want a chance to win some money, honey, Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365. And I do want to apologize to everyone again. I'm battling some kind of sickness right now. I'm down with the sickness.
Down with the sickness.
Oh, wow. All right, Chuggy Bull, take it over here for a second. I got to swap out jerseys. Haro, I was happy I finally got to rock yours, man. And shout out to everyone who always gets Raiders Report jerseys.
All right, Masal Hernandez, a first-time super chatter. Appreciate you, Masal. Raiders need to get another offensive tackle. Lyle Collins? I don't know about that. I don't even know if he's the same player. I don't even know if he can come back from these past injuries he's had in Cincinnati. I mean, they signed him to a pretty hefty contract and released him because of his injuries. I don't know whether or not he'll be good to go on an NFL roster this year or just moving forward in general. So, appreciate the super chat. Not a lot of tackle options this late in the season.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? And I understand how much that the Raiders struggled. Also, Luis Rodriguez just win, baby, and Anthony Flores. You guys are all in for the 50-50 raffle. And I understand how bad that the Raiders' offensive line this past week was against the New York Jets. But it was also the Jets who have one of the best fronts, have one of the best defenses in the league. Like, I'm going to trust this offensive line. Yes, Munford struggled. Yes, the interior struggled a little bit. But to me, Colton Miller, I'm hoping that he's back sooner rather than later. And if he's able to get back out there onto the field, you're going to be feeling a lot better overall about this offensive line. So I hear you. I do, but I'm okay with this offensive line. I want to see what they look like this week against Miami. That's how I want to see it. And then if I got to go out and add a guy like Aaliyah Collins, who's had tons and tons of injury issues, who also was not good, got released for a reason, we'll see.
Rebel, I see your comment. Put hashtag Raiders, and then I'll let you know. Because I want if you want to ask me that, I want to be able to put it on screen. So
cool. If
you have a question as well, use hashtag Raiders. If I think it's a good question for me and Mitch, I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen as well.
Awesome. Let's go to Marion. Also, Marion, shout out to you. He's been one of our OG Silver and Black Hills worthy type of dudes this year. I mean, Marion's been balling on this show. Does he have a chance to play on Sunday? I would say he does have a chance. Like, again, the move just happened, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I texted a few people. I'll see if I can get an answer back. I mean, again, the problem, and it's a good problem to have, you build connections with certain people in certain locker rooms, and my connections right now aren't as tied to some of the stuff going on as maybe some of the stuff that was previously going on, if I'm being honest with you. Plus, on top of that, players are a lot happier. Players are good with what's going on right now, and they're not as willing to tell me everything. I got a few guys that I consider my friends, but I'll go around, I'll ask. But as far as I'm concerned,
me and Devontae are like this.
Who's top? Who's bottom?
Oh, I mean,
who's the middle finger and who's the pointer is my question.
I think you know.
Yeah?
Devontae's a little spoon kind of guy.
I don't know. Top beats. Mitch, do you think he'll be ready for the KC game? Also, I think a whole bunch of players will now want to play for Coach AP and the Raiders, unlike Josh McDaniels.
That I agree with.
I mean, we tried. That's the problem. Like, we tried telling y'all before the Raiders even hired Josh McDaniels, like, people aren't going to want to play for that guy. And Brandon Marshall talked about it. We've talked about it. We've got current Raiders players all talking about it.
We have a Broncos fan in the chat. Can we get 1,000 LVs? Get this fool out of here. We have a PD sent Broncos fan in the chat.
With the name of RR, so Raiders Report. It's blasphemy.
I see him right here. PD sent his minions over to the Raiders Report to try to affect us on a day where the Raiders claim Jack Jones. What? The gall. The absolute gall.
The gall.
Oh, my goodness.
The gall. You make me laugh. Also, I hate to break it to y'all, Nico Laz, you in.
Oh, no.
I know. Everyone's like, all right, just send me back my money. Rob Rice, you in. Anthony Flores, you in. And if you're like, Mitch, what are all these people in? Well, we're going to be doing a duck race 50-50 raffle. Winner gets half the pot.
Could we give out
Dustin Dahl
$1,000 today?
Jerry Kester in. And then Jeffrey Kreischer in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. Right now, you would win $45.
Fun fact, Jeffrey Kreischer, Bert Kreischer's brother.
I wonder if they look alike. And hopefully Jeffrey wears the shirt. I don't know. Raiders Syndicate, did we sign Jack Jones? Is it official? We claimed him. So, yes, it is officially official. And I know some of y'all might be a little bit confused how I started the show, because I started the show off saying, will the Las Vegas Raiders sign Jack Jones? I had an entire segment built around the idea of, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? As you could see from a lot of the stuff that I had prepared, I was going to say that it does make sense for them to be able to go out there and do it because of the connections with AP and because I trust AP. So, yes, the Raiders have officially claimed Jack Jones.
Everything you saw was made on the fly.
Which is honestly kind of impressive. Well, some of it was made on the fly. Some of it was made on the fly.
Most of it was made on the fly.
I mean, how big is that fly?
Oh.
Swattable?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think, can you catch a fly with your bare hand?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, no, I have human hands, but yeah, I could catch it.
With your hand?
Mm-hmm. You said with a bare hand. I don't have a bare hand.
Could you catch a fly with a jack hand?
That might be easier.
You think?
More precise.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's like trying to catch, I feel like that's like SpongeBob trying to catch a jellyfish in a net.
Jeffrey Kreischer, nice jersey.
Jeffrey.
Had to break it out.
I had to, like I said, I just got a bunch of orders, so I'm going to be rocking a bunch of jerseys, a bunch of brand new jerseys here on the Raiders Report. And I said at the top of the show, I'm really, really sick. I know that there's like some bug going around. I think I saw like Graf said he's got the flu right now too. Sometimes that happens when you're partying out in Vegas and stuff. But to me, I would love to be able to sit up here and do a boot for y'all. So
Graf gets sick every time he goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
It's probably, you see that picture he posted?
He's just Robert Spillaning all over Vegas. Pat Valdez.
Oh, my God. Robert Spillaning all over Vegas. How much for you to lick the sidewalk of Vegas?
No, I have one better. How much for you to lick one of the handrails on one of the escalators on the Strip?
How much for you to lick one of the levers or a button on a slot machine?
Oh, if I win, free. Hope the Jets wasn't our trap game. Stay focused. I mean, if it was, that's great, because the whole thing of a trap game is that you lose the trap game. You ended up winning.
I was going to say, to me, the Raiders are rolling, and they won a very, very ugly game, a game that, let's face it, they would have lost many. If they had McDaniels as the head coach, 0% chance they win that football game. Let's go to Mr. Patrick B. Mount Raidermore. Mark Davis will listen to his players first. This time around, the Al Davis method is what players today want. I think Mark Davis has to learn that this is you can have a great head coach, okay? And sometimes that's going to be able to work out. But when you have a guy who just thinks that he's the greatest thing in the world and he doesn't need players to be successful, I don't see why players would want to play for that guy. So to me, you have to listen this time around. Players wanted Rich Bisaccia. You decided to go a different way. It was a complete disaster. If you don't listen to Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, some of these dudes that wear C's on their chest, then I don't know what you're even doing owning a football team.
Nico Lass says the Flintstone vitamins I ate 10 years ago is really fighting off all the germs.
I also ate Flintstone vitamins.
Best one? The orange one.
I don't remember. They were like chewing chalk.
Yeah.
They were tough on the teeth. Let's go to James. Player introductions was lit. Next home game, we need to see Antonio Pierce do the D'Lo Brown walk from WWF. You can't unsee it now. Do you know it?
Yeah.
I don't.
So D'Lo Brown was a wrestler in like the early 2000s, and his walkout.
Can you give me an example?
It's almost like the McGregor, but he was like it was like a swag walk. Let me show you.
I actually just rather see you try to impersonate it. I think I would rather see you try to impersonate that walk almost as much as I want Rolly to pop up here on the show and do another lion roar. I think both are pretty damn good to me. I'm in, though. I'm in. If you had a walkout dance, what do you think it would be? Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'll be honest, this guy does look like Antonio Pierce, just a lot bigger.
Like, I know my...
If the Big Show and Antonio Pierce had a child, that's what I think of.
I know my, impersonation looked weird, but after seeing that, it's pretty spot on.
Oh, since James said that, he's right. I mean,
he's like cracking his neck, and he's like...
If the Big Show and Antonio Pierce had a child, that's what it would look like.
That was like the original McGregor walk.
Interesting. I mean, with like a little bit of a I'm crazy twitch.
Yes.
I gotcha. Let's go to Luis Ramirez. What about an edge to help Max? I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the Raiders' defensive line really, really impressed me this past week. Jerry Tillery had a hell of a football game. Malcolm Kuntz has got better.
After being burned, do you know who's actually looked good the past couple weeks? Tyree Wilson.
He's getting better.
I think he's
getting better.
People were ready to cut him after week 4.
I mean, that's just not there. So, Raider Wolf says, check the Jack Jones stats. He's not great. I know he's not great, and he's never been good without Antonio Pierce, but when he's had Antonio Pierce in high school and in college, he's been really good on and off the field. So I think you got to bet there. Like, can the Raiders add more help? No, you're okay. Melvin Ingram, Carlos Dunlap are the only 2 edges that I would realistically want them to add. Brian Folsom, what's up, brother? God bless Mitch and Chugs and everyone who watches the Raiders Report. My gut says that the Dolphins will fold when they are tested on Sunday.
Facts.
To me, the Dolphins are just not a physical team. Like, they're not a strong team, which is going to be something that if the Raiders come away with a win, I'm going to be up here on this show saying, to me, the reason why they won is because they won in the trenches. The Dolphins' offensive line is not good at all. The Dolphins' defensive line can be exposed, and I think if the Raiders win that battle, the Raiders' offensive line compared to the Dolphins' defensive line, advantage Raiders. The Raiders' defensive line compared to the Dolphins' offensive line, I actually might give the advantage to the Raiders based off the way that they've been playing. And if you win in the trenches, to me, anything is possible. What up, Rebel? Chugs' reaction to Perriman being suspended. So I actually told Jeremy, I guarantee you we get this question.
Yes, which you were right. So I broke it down on our Texans channel, my reaction to Perriman being suspended. If you want to go check it out, Texans channel, just search Texans Chat Sports. Should be one of the first videos that pops up. But in a nutshell, I think, and this is a play on words intended, I think the NFL is, in fact, targeting Denzel Perryman because not once but twice setting the record for highest fine for a hit is wild.
Yep.
And especially when you see it all across the NFL. He's not the only one who gets helmet-to-helmet contacts. He's not the only one who's doing it. And if you look at his hits, last year against Jalen Hurts, I didn't even realize it. 2 years ago against Jalen Hurts, I didn't even realize it. Mitch, pointed it out to me, and I looked up the video. That was absolutely insane that he got fined $55,000 for that.
I mean, he didn't even get not even a flag on the play. It wasn't a personal foul. Wasn't like roughing. It was just a tackle. Jalen Hurts popped right back up. Next play, kept it moving. Yeah, I mean, it was wild. I agree with you, though.
Them doing this is saying, hey, we don't like the way you play Denzel Perryman. Even if refs aren't going to call it, we're going to go after the fact and try to hunt you down.
Tell him how much he got fined this time.
NFL Illuminati confirmed. Listen to this, Raider fans.
And think about, why would they pick this amount?
He got fined $66,666.
Like, you don't just randomly come across that number.
Petey was like, oh, well, the NFL, they factor in all these things for fines. I don't care what algorithm you put through.
I'm either rounding up or down.
If it comes out to 66,666, what is going on?
I'm making it 66,665.
Yes. Like
66,667.
I'm saying,
Done.
F it, you owe $67,000. Like, the fact
I
that
would
it's-
rather pay $67,000 than $66,666.
And I mean, I know there's a lot of old-time Raider fans in here. There's a lot of OGs in the chat. I mean, let me know. If you think the NFL has gone soft, type soft in the comment section right now. Because them doing that to Denzel Perryman, a 3-game suspension, in my opinion, that's soft.
Yeah, hey.
If you think the NFL's soft now compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Raiders football, type soft in the comment section. I want to see how many people. Oh, that would be hilarious, Jeremy Cole. He said, how about 66,669?
I mean, I know, same thing. I think I'd rather pay that. I think if, I don't know.
Imagine having to write a check for $66,666. I'd say, no.
I feel like right when you'd sign your name, the check would just light on fire and you would just go into the realm.
Rebel, perfect example. The Jacobs fine for his run against the Giants,
Bad.
soft.
It's bad. It's I know what the NFL is trying to do, but if you're just going to fine people, and I do think that the NFL has to get better with fining people based on how much they make, which I don't always say, but when you got a fine that's like, I don't know, $17,000, and it's like
Austin Eckler lost his entire game check?
yeah. I mean, that's happened sometimes. Like, imagine you would just work 2 weeks here at Chat Sports, and you're just like, you're not getting paid today because you forgot your previews and ties.
Yeah.
You didn't pin the comment on the live show. You're not getting
Didn't pin the comment
paid.
on a live show?
You're not getting
No
paid.
check. Literally, it seems like NFL right now with Denzel Perryman, it's like that Parks and Rec skit where it's like straight to jail.
Yep.
You make a tackle, straight to jail.
Agreed.
You try to make a play, straight to jail.
All right, let's go to Jagger Drury. What's going to happen with Chandler Jones's contract? I mean, to be honest, man, that's still kind of up in the air. I would imagine that it's going to be conduct detrimental to the team, and I would imagine that the Raiders aren't going to have to pay for it. But then again, I'm not a contract expert when the news ends up coming down. I still think that the NFL, I still think the Raiders are trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Chandler. And this is like one of the things that people need to do where...
Dude, holy shit.
What?
Nico Laz, you wear your visor too dark? Believe it or not, jail.
Jail. That's funny. But to me, I think they're more worried about Chandler Jones, the person, and less about Chandler Jones, the contract, which sometimes you got to do.
Oh, bro, that is hilarious.
Also, we got a few more people in here for our 50-50 raffle. David Ochoa, Brian Folsom, Rick Aguilar, Salvador Mena, James Guevara, Luis Reyes, Misty Williamson, and David Daniels. That's 10, 11, 12,
You
13,
join our
14,
50-50
15,
raffle?
16,
Straight to jail.
17. Yeah, Nico, you're locked up for life then. Locked up for life then. All right, y'all, we got 1,000 people here. Is that video out yet, Smitty? Video's out. Is it on Twitter? Okay. Just tag me. That way I can share it.
Eat corn the normal way? Believe it or not, jail.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Dude, that's is
funny.
hilarious. Y'all got me cracking up in the comments sometimes. That's hilarious.
All right, hang on a second here.
Glug, glug, glug.
Yeah, we're battling. We're freaking battling. Mo Chavez, you in.
You don't drink water? Jail.
You in. All right, we got 18 people in, which means
90
right now
bucks.
winner gets $90. 10 to win 90. It's pretty damn good.
That's not bad.
Coming up here on today's show, we're now going to get into a segment around what Skip Bayless had to say about Antonio Pierce.
It's actually about how much of a fan Mitch is of Skip Bayless. He's a huge Skip Bayless guy.
What's crazy is, and I think people that watch this show know how much I don't like Skip Bayless. And I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I agree with everything Skip Bayless said. it's freaking mind blowing to me.
He means not just this week. He means like forever. Like everything Skip has said.
Yep. Skip. All right, and then after we talk about what Skip Bayless had to say about Antonio Pierce, then at the very, very end of the show, I'm going to give you my keys to victory against the Miami Dolphins. One of my really, really good buddies, he's, I'll call him an insider there for the Dolphins, and I asked him, like, yo, bro, like, what are your top 5 biggest weaknesses for the Dolphins? He gave me them, so that's kind of what you're going to see coming up here on my show around the Raiders' Week 11 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Also, David, you in, and then Aaron, you're also in. So right now, 20 people. Winner gets $100.
Also, Jay Silk, I hit you up on Twitter. Yeah, let's get something together because I think your shirts are dope.
Let's do it. Hit him up. And I know Carter here, he's been watching the show the entire 2 weeks. He is a Dolphins fan. So anytime you see Carter in the chat, get him the hell out of here. Rick says Skip is trash. Guess what, Rick? I 100% agree. But you know what? You're going to agree with a lot of the things that he said. So that's kind of why I wanted to be able to break it down. Jagger, what's up, bro?
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Upside down Raiders headband, jail. Though I will admit this, and guys, hear me out. This is an honest question. So when I was in Las Vegas on, would have been Saturday morning, I did a podcast with Raider Cody.
Carter, we don't hate you. It's just too much fun not to mess with you. If there was a Raiders fan in the Dolphins chat, which, believe it or not, I hope with our Dolphins
you're gonna
channel,
see some. You're gonna see some on Sunday. I can promise you that.
Carter, we don't hate you. We just love to mess with you. If that makes sense.
It's easy.
Everybody, spam Carter. Spam Carter.
Or just spell LV. Or just call Dolphins fish. He's gonna lose his mind.
A dolphin's not a fish.
All right, no, but hey, this is a question. So upside down Raiders headband, jail. So I was doing the Blackout podcast with Raider Cody. Shout out to my guy Dylan, owner of Counterfeit Clothing. And then shout out to Mikey, who does a lot of the videos for UNLV. Did some of the videos that you guys saw from my Jermaine Illuminor wing eating contest. He had a red Raiders hat.
Who did that?
Mikey. He loves the color red.
Mikey, video guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a red Raiders hat. But I was like, you can't wear a red Raiders hat. Why for yes and for no? Red Raiders hat. Yes, you're okay with it.
I
no,
think I know
you're
why.
not. Why?
He's a huge UNLV guy.
Sure. But if I saw a red Raiders hat, and I'm not saying Texas Tech Red Raiders, I don't like it. To me, if Raider fans are going to get upset about what color the helmet is, there's no way you can wear a red Raiders hat. You can wear a black one, you can wear a silver one, that's fine.
I Am Punchy said Wasted wears one all the time.
I don't know. I don't like it. See, even more reason why I don't like it. But Wasted also, his color's red. That's another reason. I get it. Some people got different taste. I mean, I wear a brown one, though, I guess. Red's different to me, though. I don't like the color red. Jarrett, Carter, Fish, Dolphins suck.
Great super chat.
F the Dolphins.
Great super chat.
F the Dolphins. What up, Mo? This Jets game was the first game I went to in Vegas where we had more Raider fans than opposing team. Was beautiful to see. I mean, I think the last time I saw it was 80-20 was the split. I mean, everybody who I talked to, it sounded like it was loud. They were proud, and that's something that we haven't been able to say, man, since the hiring of Josh McDaniels, and it's amazing what having a coach can do. It's just amazing when you get rid of the cancer that's inside of that locker room.
Hey,
it's amazing, man.
Y'all are right. There's two things Wasted doesn't leave the house without. His red Raiders hat and his walker.
And Pepto. $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365.
Oh.
Also, we got a few more people that are in. So Justine Gonzalez, you in? Patrick B in. And then Daniel freaking Jimenez, you in. 23 people in for our duck race. I think we're going to do that at the very, very end of today's show. All right, y'all. I saw a super chat from Isaac. We'll get to that, Isaac, after this segment coming up here. I want to talk about what Skip Bayless had to say about Antonio Pierce. Also, Chugs, can you just hold it down for a second here? I think that they tweeted out that video, and I want to be able to put it up here.
Yeah, of course.
For me. Yep, I just want to share it real quick on my social media.
Anything for you.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Smitty, is the video out yet? Twitter. I don't see it. Oh, sending now? All right.
There we go. Let me know. Do you... Oh! Oh, well, of course, now that messed up.
What?
Perfect. the thing to pull the super chats. It's okay. It's okay. I have a backup.
Yeah.
Not as good, but we'll go with it for now.
Silver and black.
All right, here we go. Do you like the signing of Jack Jones? Let me know. Y for yes, in for no. Let me know, do you like the signing of Jack Jones? As we're going to get to some of these super chats here in a second.
As long as you're holding it, I'll tell you what, I like a lot of these graphics that you're making move. Oh, I think I'm on mute.
Oh, you do. You are. Here we go.
Yeah, I like some of the new graphics that you guys are being able to make here. But do you like the signing of Jack Jones? And we just pushed out a video of why I do think it makes some sense. So I want you guys to check it out. Again, video's out on YouTube. I'm going to share it here on my Instagram as well. Because I really, truly believe that the move here it's a good one, right? Like, if you believe in Antonio Pierce, then to me, the Raiders going out and they claiming Jack Jones, I do think makes a lot of sense from multiple areas.
Jack Jones! Mo, this Jets game was the first game I went to in Vegas where we had more Raiders fans than the opposing team. Was beautiful to see. I mean, it was awesome.
I mean, it was loud. People were proud. I know we already read that one, but, I mean, it was for everybody that went. In fact, if you went to that game, let me know down below in the comments, like, who ended up going. Because I know I was talking to Nico the other day, and he was like, bro, shit was loud. Like, again, it's not quite the Coliseum, and you're probably never going to get the Coliseum feel ever again. But I would say for the first time since moving to Vegas, probably felt like the first time it was an actual home game. All right, I just shared that.
Isaac,
should be good.
Random, but JJ is quietly third in rushing. Is that?
I don't know. I feel like that's hard to believe, but maybe it's true. NFL rushing leaders. You think? Yeah. That's what it says. Jacob, 622 rushing yards. That's actually pretty incredible to me. I will also say this. Jacobs has one more game than a lot of people since they've had a bye, or they haven't had a bye yet. They have a Week 13 bye. When you look at the rushing yards per game, he's not top 3. I mean, but still, that's kind of surprising considering how bad the Raiders were early on in the season. So
that's wild.
It's a good stat, though, man. Good stat. All right, man, we got 1,000 people here. If you haven't already, click that like button.
Marty, hey, Fish Guy.
Fish Guy.
And, Paige Davis. No! Clearly not a day one fan who remembers the Battle of the Bay against the 49ers. Red is not allowed. I mean,
that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people are very against red Raider hats.
I mean, Wasted definitely remembers that. That was in the middle of his midlife crisis, was the Battle of the Bay against the 49ers. I mean, come on. Like, he was in his 50s whenever the Raiders and 49ers were first playing each other. So he clearly remembers.
I think Wasted celebrated his 40th birthday right when the Raiders were deciding, do we go by the Raiders or the Seniors? And Wasted, from what I understand, voted for Seniors.
I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me at all, man. It really wouldn't. Oh, Brian. So if Al Davis could not see the color red due to being colorblind, then no other colors other than silver and black.
Facts.
I kind of like that. I don't know. Would you rather? Nah. Would you rather? How about the honest question? Would you rather be colorblind or not be able to smell?
Oh.
Because like I'm a big like I was gonna ask you to not be able to taste food.
Your smell is actually connected with your taste. So if you don't smell, your taste is messed up.
It's not as good. You can still taste food, but it's not as good.
Everything tastes bland. From somebody who had
excuse me,
the Rona,
no way,
and lost my taste and smell for weeks.
brutal.
I mean,
It's just not you don't get as much taste.
Yeah.
Like I'm sick right now. Food just doesn't taste the same.
but I'm saying if you don't have smell, I think the smell would be worse. I would want the smell. Also, you could never Dutch oven somebody and be like, that's bad.
That's true. I mean, imagine every time you fart, you don't know if it smells bad or not. You're just sitting around being like,
I hope nobody says anything.
I think I'm okay.
Tastes like ketchup and onions.
Oh, man, that's funny. Venthrak, Martin had a good question. Can you explain what it means to claim a player? It's a good question. So, essentially what ends up happening in the NFL, it's like a waiver wire process. Does anybody out there play fantasy football? It's the exact same thing. So, essentially what ends up happening is once a player is released, they hit the waiver. Now, it also depends, like, how many years they've been in the league, certain things like that. But with a guy like Jack Jones, he was released by the New England Patriots, which means he's going to hit the waiver wire. Then what ends up happening is all the teams, it's based on the NFL draft order from this, like, previous year, if you will. So then all the teams go down the list, and if you put in a claim for him, that means you take on his contract that he already had with the New England Patriots. So it's not like the Raiders now, they sign him, they give him a brand new deal. No, they're claiming him, which means they're going to take on his contract. So essentially the Raiders were what on that list? 7th on that list. So because of that, it was all the top teams said no. Raiders were up. They put in the claim. They said, yes, we're willing to take on his contract, and got him. Like, remember when the Raiders moved on from Alex Leatherwood? The Bears got him because they were number 1 on the list. They claimed him, and they took on his contract. It's the exact same thing. So technically, Jack Jones didn't hit the open market. It was the Raiders wanted him. They ended up claiming him, and it worked. Now, sometimes like an NFL team could put in a claim for a guy, and that player could say no. Doesn't always happen, but that's the difference between signing and claiming. It's a good question. Elijah, you're next up here. First-time super chatter. I like the signing of Jack Jones. My only concern is the off-the-field issues. We don't need distractions. However, AP was his high school and college coach, so maybe he knows how to get...
So we actually said the same exact thing that you're saying right now.
Correct.
If you haven't seen it already, go to our channel, and then it's the latest video that we put out. So if you go to the channel, go check it out. Or if you go to Mitch's Twitter, he recently reposted, tweeted about the video. Go check it out. It's about 10, 12 minutes long.
There's a lot of good quotes in there from Antonio Pierce about like why he likes Jack Jones and back from their old days, about some of the stuff he did where he wrote, Herm Edwards when he was the head coach of Arizona State, how he wrote the head of the athletic department, how he wrote the president of Arizona State saying, hey, like I want this guy on my team, and he made the dean's list at Arizona State. It's just sometimes certain people need to have leaders, certain people need to have guys on their side in the locker room, and there's a lot of things that can go into NFL, college, off-the-field issues, but here's one thing I know. When Jack Jones was with Antonio Pierce in high school, he was one of the most highly recruited players coming out of high school, went to USC, didn't have Antonio Pierce anymore, got in some trouble, got kicked off the team. Then he went to community college, got his life back together a little bit, goes to Arizona State, really does well on and off the field. Then he goes to New England Patriots, struggles. So now he's getting another opportunity to be a member of the Las Vegas Raiders with Antonio Pierce.
Another thing to watch out for, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Within the craziness of the Raiders claiming Jack Jones, the Jets also released Michael Carter, the running back.
Oh, yeah?
Could be a name, maybe not for the Raiders, but for other teams looking for a running back. I could see him being claimed off of waivers.
I like Michael Carter. He's a good pass-catching running back. A little bit undersized, but for the Jets, I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to hang on to him to catch the football. Sure, I get it. They got Breece Hall, they got Dalvin Cook, but Carter's a decent back, no doubt about it. All right, guys, we got 1,100 people here. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you click that like button.
Before we get started, yes or no, would you want to claim Michael Carter off of waivers, the running back from the Jets? Let me know in the comment section. I'm on the fence. I don't know because, Amir Abdullah is the third and long god. So I don't know where he would fit on this team, but what say you?
I'll tell you this. I think I'd rather have Michael Carter than Zamir White. Zamir White to me stinks.
Oh, Nico, you don't mean that.
He stinks.
Nico said he'd rather have Brandon Bolden. I do not believe that at all.
You don't mean that. I know you don't mean that.
I know you don't mean that, man.
I'm kind of waiting for Sincere McCormick to get run because from what I've seen from Zamir White, he sucks. Brandon Bolden stinks. Amir Abdullah does offer you some, but I can't believe it, man. Mitch is the Brady of Raiders content, the GOAT. I first read that, and I didn't know if that was a compliment or not.
That makes me the Gronk.
I like it. Or now the mayor. The mayor.
Mayor Smash.
The mayor of Raider Nation. Jeremy Chuggs. I like it.
All right,
guys, coming up here right now, Skip Bayless talked a little bit about Antonio Pierce, and I'm going to tell you what he had to say. I got to sneeze again. Son of a gun. If I sneeze during the cut, I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best not to.
That's supposed to help with sneezes, right?
I think that's how it works. Okay, I think I'm ready to go here. You guys ready to get this next segment going? Believe me, I don't like Skip Bayless, but I think you guys are going to like what he had to say here about Antonio Pierce. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report with Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, I'm going to tell you what Skip Bayless had to say around Antonio Pierce because it's going to blow your freaking mind. Also, today's show is sponsored by RexMD. And if any guys out there have a hard time getting hard, if there's any women right now that are like, that sounds like my significant other, go to rexmd.com/chat, and we're going to help hook you up here a little bit. That link's going to be available to you guys down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, Skip Bayless said that Antonio Pierce was born to be the Raiders head coach. And for anybody that has watched this show before, I can't believe I'm about to say this because I think Skip Bayless might be the worst person on television. Analyst, sports person. He's one of the worst people out there. I can't believe I'm about to say I agree with Skip Bayless. Like, there was a part of me that wonders, and I get it. Certain people are born to do certain things. I think I was born to talk. I was born to do the Raiders Report. F it. Let's say it. Skip Bayless said that Antonio Pierce was born to be a Raiders head coach, and I'm going to show you some of these quotes here, and you're going to be like, holy shit, I agree with Skip Bayless. So right now, the Raiders are 2-0. They beat both the teams that play at MetLife Stadium, the New York Giants and the New York Jets in Week 9 and Week 10. After the Silver and Black fired Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, the point totals in those games, it's 46-18. Raiders beat the Giants 30-6. Then the Raiders just took care of business against the Jets 16-12. The players and staff love AP. The nation loves AP. And I feel like that everything that Pierce has as a human being is why he might be born to do this. And if Antonio Pierce makes you want to run through a wall, hit that subscribe button. I mean it. I love that the Raiders saying all year long has been brick by brick. Well, guess what? Every single week, brick by brick, I'm willing to run through that brick by brick wall for Antonio Pierce. And if you feel the exact same way, hit that subscribe button right now. So this is what Skip had to say on Pierce. And he talked about some of his relationships. And for those that don't know, Bayless praised AP on his show First Take. And he said that he's been extremely impressed with everything that he's done. And in fact, he said that before the Raiders got a dub over the New York Jets. And the other part that people maybe not know is that Skip Bayless and Antonio Pierce worked together at ESPN. So you got a guy who has been able to work with him before, who has seen what he's doing on the field here, and some of the quotes that are coming up here on Skip, or that Skip had to say about AP, I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, holy shit, I never thought I'd say it, but I agree with Skip Bayless. And I'm gonna show you why I like some of these quotes, and I'm gonna show you guys some must-see quotes here from Skip. Insane coming out of my mouth. But you know what? I got to show some love to today's sponsor. Huge shout out to RexMD. And if anybody out there needs a stocking stuffer, and if anybody needs their stocking stuffed, go to rexmd.com/chat. That link is going to be available to you guys down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Now, we've had Rex MD on here for a while, and I'm just going to be real with y'all, fellas. If you lack a little bit of confidence in the bedroom, but you still want to have a more fulfilling sex life, well, guess what? You're not alone. That's why we're excited to tell you about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. Go to rexmd.com/chat. For this limited time deal, starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 95% off. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the USA, so you can trust its quality. Plus, their customer support team is available 24/7 to answer any questions or concerns you may have. So if you're ready to take control of your sex life and say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of their best deal they have ever offered and get up to 95% off of RexMD, plus a free gift with our exclusive link, rexmd.com/chat. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I think the holidays is all about giving. And if you're not able to give, well, maybe you need to head on over to RexMD. I think sometimes as an adult, you have to be able to understand that shit happens, right? And if it can't happen for you, don't look it on yourself. There's help out there. rexmd.com/chat. Take advantage of it right now. All right, let's talk about Skip Bayless here and what he had to say on Antonio Pierce. In my days on First Take, I worked closely with AP. He was an analyst who came in often, perfect for RexMD, during football season on First Take, knew the game inside and out. There's no showmanship in his game on television. He was a hardcore analyst, wow, with deep conviction, yikes, about what he believed Antonio Pierce is a natural-born leader. I'll tell you what, I just read those quotes again. We could not have picked a better show sponsor than RexMD right now, but my opinion on this is every player, coach, scout, analyst, person alive that I have talked to says Antonio Pierce is a leader and knows ball. I'm telling you, RexMD, man, what a day. But seriously, think about that for a second. When you get a guy that I think everybody out there, 95% of the people probably dislike Skip Bayless, and when you sit up here and you agree with Skip Bayless, it just is another perfect example of being like, Antonio Pierce is a really good dude. He is a great leader, and maybe he was born to be the Raiders head coach that this team needs. Also, Skip on AP. In those days, he was coaching high school football, eventually became the head coach at a powerhouse school out here with a great tradition called Long Beach Poly. So he had some head coaching experience before he went with Coach Herm to Arizona State to be the defensive coordinator. Antonio Pierce really knows football. And maybe I'm old school in this, right? I come from a gigantic family, and the reason why I'm a Raider fan is because partying out there in Oakland, it reminded me of my family. My mom is the youngest of 9. My dad is the oldest of 6. And we have tons and tons of traditions. And I love traditions. So it reminds me of family, which is what the Raiders need to do right now to build a successful franchise. When you have great traditions, that builds, and that carries and carries and carries. It's one of the things that reminds me of the old Raider way. Great traditions. So call me old school, but that's what this team needs right now. So he's also a natural-born Raider, having grown up here in Compton, straight out of Compton during the days of the LA Raiders, born to be a head coach of the once Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders, and now the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, how many quotes out there is Skip Bayless saying that you're sitting there like, holy shit, yeah, I agree again with him. And you should. You should continue to sit up there and say, I agree with Skip, because he is a leader. He's absolutely a leader of men. And my biggest knock on Josh McDaniels was you might know X's and O's, but if you can't rally a group of men to have one common goal, guess what? You ain't going to get it done. So you know what? Antonio Pierce, he's a Raider, and he's a Raider fan, and he's preaching traditions. He's preaching family, and that's why I'm a Raider fan. I'm a Raider fan from my Oakland days, from that very, very first Oakland tailgate that I went to. That's why I'm a Raider fan, from hanging out with people like my guy Daryl here. What's up, partner? It's been a minute or two. Being able to hang with my girl, Jersey. You meet different people, and they change your life, and it's the first time I ever met Jersey, right? It's the first time I was ever partying out in Oakland. But now I know if I ever go to Vegas, I can hit up Jersey, and we're going to have a hell of a time. Like the amount of different Raider fans that you have, people offering you a drink or two, the shirt off your back, an Oakland Raiders chain. That's what makes the nation a little bit different. Now, I will admit, I didn't know at the time, but we would be drinking David Zahn's favorite beer. But like the fact that the nation was like, yo, Mitch, I see you slamming a beer. I'm going to slam a beer with you. It's awesome. The fact that I got the Dallas Raiders group down here, DFW, shout out to my guy also. What's up, Bear? Like, you get all these people that rally behind you. That's why we packed Red Tail. It's because the nation is family. That's why I'm a Raider fan. And when you got a guy like Antonio Pierce building that family tradition, that's how you build something special. You don't got to hire a guy like Josh McDaniels that rips all that shit down. No, that's not the Raider way. You build with somebody like Antonio Pierce. That's why I'm a Raider fan, and I am rooting for Antonio Pierce. Also, some people out there that I know are real ones, man. Shout out to my guy Top Beats, Rock H, B. Doza, Travis Burkholder, and then Cayman Raider. Common Raider. I know, but it's Cayman to me, especially on Rex MD. So, I see you guys always commenting on our live shows. I see all of y'all always in the chat. I want to say shout out to all y'all. You make me a Raider fan. Always believe that. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here with some of these quotes from Skip Bayless. My pet peeve about the hiring of NFL head coaches is that being a coordinator in college or pro football does not qualify you in any way, shape, or form to be the general, to be the commanding officer, to be the CEO of a franchise. In no way, shape, or form. And to me, I see that quote, and I go, Josh McDaniels is all I need to say there. Not everybody is built to be a head coach. And that's okay. I do think that McDaniels can be a good coordinator. I've said that before. I do think that his offensive game plan as a coordinator standpoint, it can work if you have the right man in charge. It can happen. But not everybody is built to lead a team. Not everybody is able to stand up at a podium. Not everybody is able to look at a bunch of guys making millions and millions of dollars, guys with giant egos. And if you're an NFL player and you don't think those guys have big egos, let's be real here. But to be able to stand up there and look at all them in the eyes and get them to believe after everything that a team has been through, that's the most important quality in a head coach. And yeah, Antonio Pierce might not have a lot of the other things that a guy like McDaniels has. But you know what Antonio Pierce has that McDaniels doesn't have? The ability to talk to people. Keep it rolling here with Skip Bayless here on Antonio Pierce. It's just the gut feeling from having been around, worked around, sort of lived around Antonio Pierce. He's a keeper. He's a leader. He's a difference maker who will rise above one side of the ball or the other side. He's a defensive coach who I think was born to be a head coach, especially of this franchise. And, you think about all the moves that Mark Davis has made. Hell, the amount of times I've sat up here on the show and I said, maybe the Raiders, and not even maybe, that the Raiders should go with an offensive-minded coach because it's an offensive-driven league. Sometimes change has got to happen. And the Raiders have had 12 different head coaches in 20 years, and if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, maybe it's time to go a different route. Maybe instead of trying to land the whale in John Gruden, maybe instead of trying to get that big-name guy in Josh McDaniels, maybe the correct answer is right in front of you. And, yeah, you maybe should have went with Rich Bisaccia. And after seeing it, Rich Bisaccia or Josh McDaniels probably should have stuck with Bisaccia. But the important part about history is you have to learn from it. You can't make the same mistake twice. And we'll see if he ends up making the same mistake twice. Do you want Antonio Pierce to be the Raiders head coach in 2024? Yes or no? I know this. I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce more than I have ever rooted for anybody else out there. And in the words of Jeremy Chuggs, yeah. So here's how I'm going to end this show right now. I can't stand Skip Bayless. But if even Skip is praising Antonio Pierce, it just goes to show how amazing of a person and leader AP truly is. He was born to be a Raider, and only time will tell if he was born to be the Raiders head coach. I'll tell you this, though. I'm rooting for him. And I'm rooting for him because I know that means that this Raiders team is having a hell of a season in 2023. I'm also rooting for a guy like Antonio Pierce that feels like he's had to fight for everything his entire career. A UDFA player to a Super Bowl champion to a head coach in high school football, worked his all the way up to where he is now. He doesn't have the prettiest resume. But you know what? He can get the job done. And I feel like I resonate with that. And I feel like when Raider Nation looks at Antonio Pierce, they see themselves. When I look at Josh McDaniels, I don't see myself. When I see Antonio Pierce, I see myself. And that's why I want him to be the Las Vegas Raiders head coach in 2024. Oh boy, one word to describe the Raiders season. How much time do we got? Luis says if he goes 500 this year, yes. I hear you. Betback says, we got Jack Jones. That is correct. We got Jack Jones. Broke it down about hour and a half ago. Ryan Center, hell yeah. I bet he gets good draft picks. We'll see. One word to describe the Raider season so far. Chris Smith says crazy. Raul says coaster. Rick giving a shout out to AP. Relief there from Agent Red. I see Culture down there. Ty Davis, insane. Enigma from Jeremy. Correction from Ben Thrack. Perseverance. It's a great one there from Jay Silk. Diehard Raider fan, McLovin. Hopeful for Misty Williamson. Roller coaster from Diehard Raider fan. Chugs, I got to switch my jersey. I also just got to go blow my nose real quick. And then give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. If you could hold it down here for just a little.
Go ahead and go blow.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag RexMD. One word to describe the Raiders season so far. We also have a couple of super chats. And if you didn't know, well, now you know. The Raiders claimed Jack Jones off of waivers, former Patriots cornerback, and former cornerback for Arizona State, where Antonio Pierce was his coach. Vincent Luna, let's go Raiders. We in the hunt. Facts. In the hunt. I believe we have the playoff graphic updated and ready in here for you. I mean, Raiders definitely in the hunt. They're right there. I mean, as we look at the playoff picture right now, after Monday Night Football, this is where we sit. KC, 1 at 7-2. Baltimore, number 2 at 7-3. Jags, 6-3. Miami, 6-3. Those are your division leaders. And in the wild card, it's the Steelers, Browns, and Texans. Steelers and Browns at 6-3. Texans at 5-4. And then in the hunt is just a ton of teams right there in the middle. Cincinnati at 5-4. Indy, Buffalo, Vegas, all at 5-5. The Chargers at 4-5. So are the Jets and the Broncos. Titans still somehow in it at 3-6, and the Patriots at 2-8. So, yes, Raiders are definitely in the hunt right now when we sit at this point in the NFL season. Thank you for the question, Luna. James, who won the auto jersey? Give me that. Raider Nation for life. I thought I had it written down. Let me see. Jose Delgado won the auto jersey. That's right. Jose Delgado won the Jim Otto signed jersey. It was a great race. But yes, he won the Jim Otto signed jersey. And here we go. But yeah, maybe we do another jersey giveaway this Sunday. I don't know. You gotta stick around to find out. Let's see. Next one coming up from Suicide Guns. What up, guys? So happy to be a Raiders fan. 2 wins in a row? Haven't felt this happy for 2 weeks in a row for a while. Let's keep it rolling, 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 rolling. I mean, I told Mitch after that first game with AP, this is the happiest I've seen these Raiders players in the past 2 years. I have not seen a single game with Josh McDaniels where Raiders were this happy. Maybe once or twice. But even after wins, it didn't even feel like that because you still had to deal with Josh McDaniels. So I feel like this is kind of a breath of fresh air for Raider fans everywhere in Raider Nation. One word to describe this Raiders season so far. Let me know. Carlos Rodriguez says, Jack Jones a difference maker? It depends. I mean, he has a lot of skill. He has a lot of talent. But, Carlos, if you want to see the video, it's already out on the channel. We did a whole breakdown of Jack Jones and what he could mean for this Raiders team. As back in the stew.
Thanks, guys. Sorry, I had so much crap in my nose. I felt like I was just sounded terrible. So we're back, feeling better than ever, man.
I'm back.
Oh boy, feels good.
Also, just letting y'all know, after this next segment, we will be doing the 50-50 raffle duck race.
Oh yeah. Which actually, yeah, reminds me. Let me see how many people are in right now.
Last one you gave me was Daniel freaking Jimenez.
All right, last one was Daniel freaking Jimenez. Which,
Who? That's who won the jersey, right? Or no, that was Jose Delgado.
Jose Delgado. Eric Mitchell, you in to the Great Tuna. You in. Mark Ryan in. And then Davin Lopez, you also in. So now we are at 27 people in. $135 to the winner.
$10 for 135. I might.
$10 to enter. $10 to enter. And right now you'd win $135.
Not too shabby.
Kev says, Chugs, I love you. Oh, man.
Love
Is
you,
that
Kev.
L.A.? Hang on, I got to sneeze. All right, I think I'm all right. L.A. Crash Dog, you in.
You're just
What?
on the struggle bus.
Well, I don't want to sneeze, and if you sneeze on the camera, everyone watching gets sick.
Oh,
Everyone knows that.
Dude, if you sneezed on the monitor in front of you, game over.
Dude.
Absolute game over. There's no coming back from a sneeze on a monitor.
Luis Mack, you in. L.A. Crash Dog, you in. Norman Hernandez, so in. And now that puts us at 30. So right now you'd win $150.
Wow.
$150. Can't beat it.
It's worth it.
Can't beat it. What's up, fam? Just got up. What did I miss? The Las Vegas Raiders, they claimed Jack Jones off waivers, the former New England Patriot corner. But again, don't look at him like that. Look at him as somebody who played with Antonio Pierce in college, and then also in high school.
Is Jack Jones one of the
Bigger
most
pause.
common names out there? Like, I feel like that's up there with John Smith. Like, the next one would be
Chris Smith.
Jack Jones.
Like, to me, I know Chris Smith of the Raiders. My aunt's name is Chris Smith. And then I also played baseball with a guy named Chris Smith. To me, like, that's a common
I feel
name.
like I knew a Chris Smith in high school.
I also just listened to a comedian, and I can't remember who it was, but he was, like, talking about, he's like, yeah, bro, like, I remember one time I actually met a couple, an old couple, and their first name, or their name was John and Jane Doe. He's like, and I just couldn't believe how insane it was that I actually met somebody named John and Jane Doe. And then he's like, I wonder if they were just effing with me. He's like it's not actually their name. He's like, I just met them randomly, and that was their name. Probably. Though, I feel like nowadays, if somebody comes up to you and Danny, I'm like, oh, what's your name? And you're like, my name's John. This is Jane. What's your last name? Doe. No way you're believing them.
No.
But yeah, you go after yourself.
No. I feel like Jack Jones, very common name.
I mean, it is. Also, we got a few more people in our race here. Julio Zapata in. Jose Delgado in. Jarrett Watson in.
Wow.
And then Chris Melendez.
You're not going to believe this, but
In. What?
Jarrett Watson.
Oh, a Raider is a pirate. Pirates eat dolphins.
Do they?
I mean, I guess. Like,
I mean, they could.
I mean, I bet in the old days. I will say this, and this, honest, have you ever seen dolphin offered on a menu?
Never. Never. I have seen a clip of.
Is it possible? Like, is it like?
It in China. I know. I saw a clip and it was pretty effed up. They do. It's a delicacy called shark fin soup.
Sure. Yeah, it's really effed up.
And they literally just catch sharks, cut their fins off,
And let 'em go.
and then let them go.
Yep. Terrible.
Which is wild.
Awful. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would want to eat dolphin.
Pirates eat red snapper. I love a red snapper, like a Cajun red snapper with like a cream sauce or like a Cajun sauce or something.
You just knew exactly where to go. Like, you're such a foodie. I love it.
Dude, Cajun red snapper, incredible.
You sure?
I know. I've had it multiple times. It's great.
All right.
Maybe over like a little rice pilaf.
I'm in. Honestly, you're kind of making me hungry. I haven't really been hungry in a long time.
Red snapper tacos are really good. I like red snapper as a fish.
Let's go to Brandon Jasper. It's been said before, and it's going to be said again. Locals. For the best content and more live shows. Brandon, I'm just going to warn you, I don't know what Locals live show is going to look like tomorrow. I'm battling something pretty wicked here. I don't really know what it is, but I'm just saying I'm kind of sick. Also, though, Brandon, I saw your message today. I know I replied to you. I told Chugs kind of what was going. Just so you know, man, we got your back, and if you need anything, just keep us up to date. We love you. Hopefully you know that. So, if everyone hasn't already, Brandon is a member of Mount Raidermore. He's done a lot of amazing things here on this channel, and he's dealing with something right now. And I think anytime that you deal with things in your life, you know, it always helps to have a really good support group. And I hope that people know that this is not just a YouTube channel. And you know, when I was at the Raiders event this past weekend at Redtail, and you know, I got to meet Blue. Shout out to Blue Richards. You know, you get to meet a guy like Nico Laz. You get to meet a guy like Sons of Al. You meet a lot of really awesome people. The Govinda family, or the Govinda tribe, excuse me. And you know, they look at the show as more of, you know, like that family base, right? Like if I'm going to sit up here and preach, like I want the nation, I want them to build a team that's built on family. I mean, that's how we build this show. So Brandon, just know, man, that we always got your back here. And if you guys could do me a really big favor, if you could give a shout out to Brandon Jasper right now down below, I think it would go a really long way. Next one, Suicide Guns. Anyone know our record versus the Dolphins in Miami?
So this is gonna in Miami. Oh,
in Miami, I don't.
Damn.
I wish I could look it up, but I have no internet.
The all-time record. Facts. I just had to change internets. I was literally like, that's why I was kind of looking over to the side for a little bit because my internet totally froze.
Yeah.
The all-time record though between the Raiders and Dolphins, and why I think my record prediction will stand. And this is going to be a tie game.
Yep.
The all-time record between the Dolphins and the Raiders, 18-1.
18-1.
18 wins, 18 losses, and a tie.
So all you saw there was tie.
Oh, and it's already tied up 18-18. Another tie, 18-18 too. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Raiders, Dolphins, tie. The Raiders, my 10-6-1 record prediction for the Raiders lives. It's going to happen. Raiders going 10-6-1 on the season.
I hope, man. I hope 10-6-1 at this point, as long as they make the playoffs, that's all I care about, man. As long as they make the playoffs. Also, shout out to Violator in the chat. What's up, Violator? It's good to see you here, my guy. Let's go to...
Consider yourself violated.
Let's go to Venthrak. This one's going out to Red Snapper Tacos, the official food of the Raiders Report.
Whenever I went to Florida with my fiance and her family, had one of the best tacos ever. It was a set of Red Snapper tacos, blackened with some slaw on top, and then some fresh guac on the side with chips, and had like a sriracha mayo on top of it.
Red Snapper food review here on the Raiders Report.
I mean, I bet there's a place right around.
You think we could find something? Though, I will admit, I don't know if I like the idea.
Gloria's has Red Snapper tacos.
See, I would want to eat it at Gloria's. You know what I mean? I'm a big, I'm not going to order fish. I'm not going to order Red Snapper and DoorDash it.
Revolver Tacos has it as well.
I feel like if we're going to do that, we actually have to go there.
Las Palmas, which I've heard some good things about Las Palmas.
We'll have to actually go there and eat it. I don't want to DoorDash Red Snapper. It sits for 45 minutes before I get to eat it. I feel like we got to actually go there and do it.
I love Gloria's.
Hey, I'm in.
Sponsor the show.
I'm in. All right, y'all, we got 800 people here in the building. Again, the big-time news that happened right at the very top of the show was the Las Vegas Raiders. They claimed Jack Jones off waivers, and he's got a lot of connections with Antonio Pierce from college, from high school. Antonio Pierce knew him since he was 13 years old, which is why if you believe in Antonio Pierce, to me, I think you should believe in the move here of the Raiders claiming him. So, again, y'all, if you want to get in our 50-50 raffle, $10 to enter, probably going to be your last chance to get in because as soon as this segment is done, then I'm gonna get on out of here. I gotta rest up a little bit. I've been pretty damn sick over the past 24 hours, if you will. So if you guys want a chance to get in, final opportunity.
Get it in.
50-50 raffle right now. If you send in 10, you would have a chance to win because we just got another one. Giovanni.
I think 370 or 175.
Oh, I think I might. Where did I type that? Giovanni Tejada. In. So right now you would win $175. That's a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. Okay, y'all, coming up right now here on the Raiders Report, let's get into a little bit of a preview prediction.
A prediction preview.
With the Las Vegas Raiders going up.
With the Raiders.
Against the Miami Dolphins.
Against the Dolphins.
I like it. Sounds good. I'm going to give you my keys to victory on offense and on defense. And then anybody who sends in a Super Chat, Venmo. Also, we got some news here.
Raiders cut Isaac Rochelle.
Isaac Rochelle has been released by the Raiders. And if you guys remember, I made a video last week about players on the hot seat. Isaac Rochelle was on there. I was also told that he wasn't a favorite in the locker room. So,
oh, wow. He just dropped a TikTok.
Probably. Did he?
No.
I said last week on the Raiders Report that this could happen, and now it's official. Isaac Rochelle is gone. So more Raiders news that just went down there. Isaac Rochelle released by the Silver and Black.
He's just outside Allegiant, just like.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, like there's certain, players that are more of a distraction off the field. And players are going to talk a little bit. And one of the reasons why he was released was because there were multiple players inside of that locker room that felt like he was a McDaniels guy. Not saying that's why he was released, but because he was a little bit of a distraction. And that's just simply not what they needed. So, is what it is.
Does Brandon Bolden make it to the end of the year on the roster?
Oh, boy. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. It has got to be it's got one of the most incredible things ever. Like, Brandon Bolden might get a show in Las Vegas for being able to stay on that roster. It's incredible. It's incredible. All right, let's do this segment. I see a super chat.
You just go to Vegas. He's one of the guys passing out the cards on the strip. Hey, what you trying to see tonight? What you trying to see tonight?
What you going to? Hey, what you going to, man?
What's your plans? What's your plans? You got plans? You got no plans? What you doing?
Oh shit.
Sam knows about those guys.
Big
right, Sam?
Yep.
The guys in Las Vegas on the strip handing out cards.
It's even worse in Mexico.
Sam knows.
Dude, when I was in Cancun, it was unbelievable, man.
Well, just because you've been to Vegas with Mitch before.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, is what it is.
Sam knows.
Okay. Here we go. Coming up, Raiders, Dolphins preview here on the show. It's PrizePicks, just so you know. Cool? Cool. Let's get it going. Raider Nation, we're going to be doing a jersey giveaway this Sunday live on the Raiders Report. If you subscribe, if you turn on those notifications, you have a chance to win, and it's going to be a jersey of your choosing. So not one that I'm going to wear, but one that I'm going to be able to send to y'all. So if you're watching the show this Sunday, you got a chance to win a jersey. Here's the thing, though. If you're not subscribed, you have a 0% chance of winning. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, I wanted to show you guys a little bit of a preview / prediction / my keys to victory for the Silver and Black going up against the Miami Dolphins in Week 11. As it stands right now, the Raiders are 5-5. The Dolphins are 6-3. And this game a day before my dad's birthday. So if you guys want to wish my dad a birthday on Sunday, another reason to make sure that you join in. So what I wanted to be able to do here on today's show, since the Raiders are big-time underdogs. I wanted to give you my 5 keys on offense and my 5 keys on defense, though I got to ask this question because I've been rolling with it. It's been working. What's your confidence level in the Raiders beating the Dolphins this week? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident at all. 10, it is a guarantee that the Silver and Black march down to Miami, walk into Hard Rock Stadium, and they come away with a dub, making Antonio Pierce 3-0 on the season as the Raiders' interim head coach. So coming up here on the show, we're going to start with the offensive side of the football. I reached out to one of my good buddies who's very well connected with the Dolphins, and I asked him, give me some big-time weaknesses for this team. So based off the information he gave me is where you're going to see some of these keys to victory for the Silver and Black. The first one is this. You got to stick to the run game. Like, you heard Antonio Pierce, how frustrated he was going into halftime against the New York Jets. He was like, we need to stick to the running game. The way that Josh Jacobs has been playing, and right now he's top 3 in the NFL in rushing yards, which we found out live, which was kind of an amazing stat considering the fact of how bad he/the team was to start the season. But not only do you have to stick to the running game to, keep your offense moving, that takes a major weight off of Aiden O'Connell's shoulders. I also thought that the Raiders' offensive line ran block a lot better than they pass blocked. And then on top of that, even more is the Miami Dolphins right now have the number 1 offense in the NFL. An easy way to keep the clock moving, to keep them on the sideline, to win that time of possession battle is to pound the rock with Jacobs, because right now, I know he fumbled late in the game last week, but dude, that guy is running, and he looks a lot like the way he did last season. And it's also because they've been doing a lot more scheme, like zone runs, and not so much just of the power runs. Let's go to the next thing here. Move Aiden O'Connell in the pocket. To me, AOC was so much like a sit and duck last week, where it was kind of frustrating, and I get it. The Jets' defense is totally different compared to the Miami Dolphins' defense. The Jets have one of the best defenses in the entire league. But to me, though, I want to move Aiden maybe to the left, maybe to the right. Just move him around a little bit, because this season the Dolphins have really struggled with running quarterbacks. I am not saying at all that Aiden O'Connell, I want him to run. I'm not saying at all that he's a mobile quarterback. What I'm saying is the Dolphins have really struggled this season when a play maybe has broken down a little bit and the QB is able to roll out of the pocket, find a guy open down the field. So to me, if I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to do a lot of play action. Get that running game going. Get Aiden's feet moving so he's not a sitting duck in the pocket. Get him to roll out maybe to the right, maybe him roll out to the left a little bit. Just change it up, because that's where the Dolphins secondary has really struggled this year. Let's go to another one here. You want to control the clock. The longer your offense is on the field, the less time the Dolphins offense can be on the field. Breaking news, right? But that's going to be a big part of this game, where if the Raiders think that they're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with that Dolphins offense, I'm sorry. I'm the biggest Raider fan that you're going to find up here on this show, right? And I'm sure a lot of y'all can agree with this. If the Raiders think that they're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Dolphins offense, they're going to lose that fight. So to me, this is going to be one of those fights. Instead of going for that knockout punch all the time, hit him with a few jabs. Go to the body a little bit. Maybe you got to throw in a few shin kicks, a few leg kicks, a few thigh kicks. Stomp on some feet for all my UFC guys out there. And then you might be able to land a knockout punch later on. But to me, run the ball, chew up some clock, because if you can keep that Dolphins offense on the sideline and limit their possessions, you have a chance to win this football game. Let's go to the next one here. Let's get the tight ends involved. And one of my biggest things that I saw from the notes that I got from my Dolphins guy was they have not done a very good job this season up against tight ends. And hell yeah, man, I got to show it. The Wreck-It Ralph shirt here, a little Michael Mayer action. Oh, dude, the back is sick. The back is sick. Again, anytime you guys have a T-shirt, you're a Raiders Report watcher, and you own a business, hit me up, man. If I have the ability to show your product, I'm more than happy to try to do it. But you got to get the tight ends involved. And one of the areas that I've really been impressed with Michael Mayer recently is he's gotten better as a blocker. He's already showing you that catch he had this past week going up and getting that ball, Aiden O'Connell trusts him, and I guess he should, because Mayer's turning into a hell of a tight end. He's getting more snaps run out there. He was called a tough SOB by Antonio Pierce. But the way that the Dolphins' defense has worked this season, they've done a better job against receivers. So with that being said, let's get the tight end involved a little bit. And then I kind of combined this one a little bit, and shout out for Jeremy for getting a little bit ballsy on the graphic. No turnovers, and you got to be ballsy a little bit on offense. Like, to me, I look at this Dolphins team. The Dolphins are a better football team than the Raiders. I'm not afraid to say it. However, though, if you don't turn the ball over, you're going to give yourself a shot to win. But then also get ballsy. Like, to me, the Raiders' offense this past week looked a little bit vanilla, right? It just looked a little bit stale. I wanted to see a little bit more excitement. And then right when the Raiders, I felt like, got a little bit creative, like the fake tush-push end around with Trey Tucker type of move there. Maybe it was DeAndre Carter. Either one. Like, those are the type of plays, it was DeAndre Carter. Those type of plays are the ones that can inspire an offense to get that momentum going. So to me, I hope Bo Hardegree is ready to go because he needs to get a little bit ballsier on the offensive side of the football. Now, I am going to give you my defensive keys in here in just a second, but since we're talking about offense, let's keep it here with fantasy football. And shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. And if anybody wants to play along with Jeremy and I, go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS and code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. So I know we're talking NFL here, but guess what? If you want to get started with NBA, you can also do that. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you wanted to do a combo of the Raiders game and, I don't know, Warriors, Lakers, whoever. Let's just say you could do one that's like Steph Curry 3-point field goals with Devontae Adams receptions. Like, that's why I love PrizePicks. You can do a whole bunch of different things, and PrizePicks is very, very creative. And if you put down just like $10 on a game, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be locked and loaded into whatever that game is. So my picks for this Week 11 matchup between the Raiders and the Dolphins, I'm going to go this route. I'm going to go less with Tua Tagovailoa and 272.5 passing yards. Like, I see that the Raiders are major underdogs in this game. However, the Raiders defense has been playing really well. Like, you can't take that away from them. In terms of Josh Jacobs, give me the more on the overall touchdowns. He's just got to score one. And then I'm going to go more on Daniel Carlson, the villain in every 90s movie, and according to Jeremy, it looks like the team captain of the Iceland team in the Mighty Ducks movies. Give me the more on the 1.5 field goals made, and if you want to go with those picks, hey, PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. If you're like, Mitch, you're crazy, I'm not going with them. Guess what? Fade me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Put your money where your mouth is. Get started. Play a little fantasy. I promise you this, you're going to have fun doing it. In today's day and age, if I could put $10 down and have 2 to 3 hours of entertainment, that is worth every single penny. All right, let's keep it moving here on the Raiders Report. Let's now go to the defensive side of the football and give you some of the defensive keys here for the Silver and Black. And I'm going to go a little bit different than what I usually go with in terms of some of the vernaculars, if you will. The first one is the defensive line needs to beat the weak offensive line for the Dolphins. So to me, when I look at this Dolphins offense, by far their weakest link in that chain is the guys up front. And the reason why I'm confident that this team has the ability to win a football game here for the Raiders is because if you lose the trenches battle, you might lose that football game. And sure, the Dolphins are big-time favorites, but the Dolphins are 6-0 against teams with losing records, and they are 0-3 against teams with a winning record. And the more and more tape I watch on this Miami Dolphins team is this. They're soft. And the way the Raiders are playing with a chip on their shoulder, guess what? They're playing pretty tough football right now. Let's go to the next one here, and it's put pressure on the center. Mitch, what the hell are you talking about? The Dolphins' worst spot right now in their offensive line is Connor Williams. And I literally LOL'd because you would have thought I was talking about our old Dolphins host, Will Scott. But my buddy who I was texting said, no, their center position is a big-time eyesore. I mean, you've essentially got a guard playing center, and it hasn't worked out all that well. And one of the tips that he gave me was when teams put a lot of pressure on the center, and what do I mean by that? They get their defensive tackles, and they go after the interior of that offensive line instead of going on the outside, then that's led to more pressure on Tua. And when that pressure has happened, it's led to a lot more mistakes, whether that be direct snap, whether that be fumbling snaps, or whether that just be Tua getting pressure up the middle. So to me, I'm curious, maybe they put a Max Crosby once in a while at defensive tackle. Jerry Tillery's been playing a lot better. I want to focus on the center and focus maybe a little bit less on the edges compared to previous games. Let's go to the next one here, and I like to keep this basketball analogy because a lot of times I step up here on the show and I'll talk about box and one, right? Like, well, you got one player. I say it a lot with the Chiefs. I'm going to say it next week. Box and one, you put one guy on Travis Kelce, and that's it. You don't let him beat you. Well, here's another basketball analogy that I can always remember from my days playing basketball. Yes, I used to play triangle and two defense, and the triangle and two defense was made very famous because it's a zone with 3 players, right? You put one guy at the top of the key, you put 2 guys on the bottom, and then you try to take away 2 players. Well, guess what? I'm trying to take away 2 players here with this triangle and 2 defense. First guy is Tyreek Hill, and I get it. Good luck. Tyreek Hill might be the best receiver in the NFL. He might be the best weapon in the NFL because of how athletic he truly is. But you know what? Nate Hobbs in years past has actually done a halfway decent job on Tyreek, and if I got to try to bracket cover him, I'm going to try to do my best of my ability to do that. On top of that, though, you also got to try to take away Jalen Waddle because it's been Tyreek Hill, it's been Jalen Waddle. That's who Tua Tagovailoa looks at in those big third down situations in the red zone. When they need a big play, those are the 2 guys that usually come up with it. They haven't really been able to find a third receiver. They haven't really been able to find another tight end since they let Mike Gesicki go. So to me, I'm that Raiders defense. I'm playing a triangle and 2. I'm not letting Waddle. I'm not letting Hill beat me. I get it. It's a lot easier said than done, but that's where my concentration is going to go. Next one is this. Be physical and hit Tua. The Dolphins are not a physical team, and at times I think that's why they struggle in tough games because we can sit up here and talk about all the X's and O's we want. Sometimes it literally just comes down to who's the tougher team. Who's winning in the trenches? If the Raiders go in on the offensive side of the line, and if they go in on the defensive line, they're going to win in the trenches. That's good. On top of that, when Tua's been hit in years past, he turns into a different quarterback. He gets a little bit of the happy feet. And, I'm not going to lie to you. There's the times I watch Tua, and it kind of reminds me of Derek Carr because, you watch Tua play sometimes, you're like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. And then there's another drive, you're like, this guy stinks. So to me, I know Al Davis used to always say that sometimes you got to hit a quarterback in the first 5 to 10 plays to set that tone. I want the Raiders to try to hit Tua Tagovailoa in the first 5 to 10 plays. And then the last one is this. For the love of God, tackle. Because the Dolphins will kill you with yards after the catch. If Tyreek Hill catches the ball and you miss, you're in trouble. If Jalen Waddle catches the football and you miss, you're in trouble. If they're running the rock with Raheem Mostert and you miss, you're in trouble. Like, they have breakaway speed. It also looks like Devon Achane is going to be playing in this game, who he's averaging 12 yards per carry. The Dolphins' offense has been dynamic, and the Raiders need to be the more physical team. They need to wrap some guys up, and you need to bring them to the ground, because if it's 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, you might be seeing a 70-yard touchdown, a 60-yard touchdown. The Dolphins are the fastest team in the National Football League, so make sure you're tackling, or else a lot of yak coming up here. One more time here off the top here for the Raiders to take down the Miami Dolphins on the offensive side of the football. Stick to the run game. Get Jacobs the ball a ton. Move Aiden O'Connell in the pocket. I don't want him to be a sitting duck. I want to see some of that play action. Control the clock. The longer you're on the field, the less time that Dolphins offense can be there, and don't be afraid to chew up some of that time. Get your tight ends involved. I want to see Michael Mayer going. That's where the Dolphins have really struggled in their secondary. No turnovers, simple, and get ballsy. I don't want to see a vanilla offense. I want to see the fake tush push, end around with the Andre Carter type of shit. That inspires an offense. And then on defense, the defensive line needs to beat a weak O-line for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, that offense is great, but if you can win in the trenches, you got a shot. Get some pressure on the center. That's their weakest spot on that offensive line. Triangle and 2 defense. Take away Tyreek Hill. Take away Jalen Waddle. Be physical. Try to hit Tua in the first 5 to 10 plays. Tackle. Do not allow any yards after the catch. All right, y'all. So, again, the Week 11 matchup here, November 19th, Week 11. The over-under, last time Chugs and I checked, and I couldn't even believe it, 46.5. Dolphins are 13-point favorites. That is a slap in the face. If this was a Josh McDaniels run team, I'd probably sit up here and say, oh, yeah, I can see that. Antonio Pierce's team plays with way too much heart to lose by this. I mean, to me, this is easy money in the bank. I am taking the Raiders to cover that every single day of the week. That doesn't mean that they're going to win the game. So what I want you to do right now is predict the score. And here's the thing. We're going to have a lot of Raiders fans. We're going to have a lot of Dolphins that come across this show. I want to know what your score prediction is going to be for the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Miami Dolphins. Predict the score, Chugs. What are we going with here?
I'm going 20-20.
Yeah?
20-20 in a tie, a barn burner. I'm choosing a tie for this game. Raiders 20, Dolphins 20. That's my score prediction. What about you, Mitch?
I'm probably going to go with, at this point, man, I got nothing to lose. I'm just always going to take the Raiders to win. Give me the silver and black, 27-24. 27-24. I know the Dolphins are a lot better at home, but the Raiders to me are playing like a different team. Like the fact that the Dolphins are 0-3 against winning teams, I look at the Raiders with Antonio Pierce as 2-0. I don't look at them at 5-5.
Yeah.
Give me the silver and black. Give some shout outs here to the peeps
Carter
watching.
Reimer, 80-10, Miami. Yeah. I don't know about that, Carter. I think it's more like 20-20. I think it's a tie.
Yeah?
I'm shooting my shot. I'm calling my shot.
Yeah? I mean,
I'm Babe Ruth. I'm there. I'm about to hit a 70-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball, and I'm pointing where it's going.
I mean, imagine doing that and actually hitting a home run. And I can actually remember this totally different baseball analogy. When I was 16, I went to this baseball tournament.
You don't know the great Bambino?
There was a kid at 16. He was throwing, I'm going to say like 96. It was unbelievable. And he was calling his pitches out there on the mound. So in baseball, when you're warming up, fastball, curveball, changeup, you can do two-seam. There's like all these motions that you do.
Slide.
You do with your glove, right?
That's slide, right?
What?
Like side.
Sometimes people go like this for slider. Sometimes people go like this for two-seam, like depending on the pitch or whatever. But the kid was out there on the mound, threw a no-hitter. Again, he's 16, but he's throwing 96. You calling like the home run there was reminding me of him just being like, here it is. Boom. I don't know where that kid's playing now. I don't even know if he's even in the league. He was unbelievable.
He goes by the name of Clayton Kershaw. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, he was a righty.
His name is Nathan Eovaldi.
He was pumping. All right, Ron, 35-32 Raiders. Troy Gill, 25-21 Raiders. Again, we started today's show with some news here. The Raiders, they claimed Jack Jones, and then the corresponding move that they made was they moved on from Isaac Rochelle. If you remember last week when we talked about Rochelle, he was in our Raiders on the Hot Seat show, and I said that I was told by a few players in the locker room that he can be a little bit of a distraction off the field, which is something that they didn't want, and that some people consider him to be a McDaniels guy. So, said it last week. The Raiders now, they go out and get Jack Jones. They decide to move on from Isaac Rochelle.
I'm getting roasted for my pick, which is okay.
Hey, you deserve it.
They said Chugs is a fool for thinking that.
LA Crash Dog, my one-word reaction. The same old roller coaster of craziness with my team.
Imagine.
I have what I was going to say. You go first.
Imagine you're in the spelling bee.
I swear to God, in my grandfather's life, it's the exact same thing I was going to say.
Your word is the same roller coaster of craziness with my team.
Can you please use that in a sentence, please?
LA Crash Dog was trying to describe the Raiders season this year, and he said the same old roller coaster of craziness with my team. Sorry, there's a silent N at the end.
What is the country of origin, please?
Las Vegas.
Oh, shit, dude. That's funny. All right, y'all. Final call here for our $10 50/50 raffle. You can Venmo me at MitchellRenz365, or you can scan that QR code with your camera for a chance to get in. Right now, we have 35 people in, and we got a new one who is Alan Klemesh. Hopefully I pronounced that right. PG, you in. We got Jasper Barber in, and then Jose Ramirez, you in. So right now, 39 people. Winner would get $195. That's freaking awesome, man. $195 to the winner. Final call. I appreciate also everybody, for being patient with me. Just simply because I am not feeling great today. I'm definitely pushing through this one. Pretty damn sick as it stands right now. But when you do a show like this, man, sometimes you just got to nut up. Commitment to excellence. That's what it's about. And I'm happy for people. Sorry for one that you had to hear me sniffle and sneeze the entire show. And hopefully you guys are okay with me not doing any boots today. So appreciate it though. Seriously, man. We got 600 people here in the chat. Over 600 likes. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I see a few people right now down below saying, congrats, Mario. What happened with Mario? Hopefully it's good. Daniel says, I pick the Raiders every time. Why not? Why pick anything else? It's like betting the under. You know what I mean? Like, life's too short to bet against the Raiders. You bet on the Raiders, man. I'm not betting on the under. I'm not doing it. Josephan Gerzo. Hopefully that one's right. I have no idea. Josephan. I can honestly say I've never seen this before. How would you pronounce that name? Joseph? Or maybe it's like Joseph Ann? Joseph Ann Gerzo? You in, no matter what. Joseph Ann? Cool. I like it. Also, just so you guys know, the next time that I'm going to be live here on the Raiders Report, yep, Joseph Ann, in. The next time that I'm going to be here on the Raiders Report is going to be Thursday, which I'm actually excited about the Thursday night football matchup this week. Bengals and Ravens. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Looks like the guys out in the studio are hyped up about it. I'm excited for that one. There's a lot of playoff implications. Honestly, like, you know, it was funny, like Petey, the guy who runs our Broncos show, was like saying that, oh, I was against the Broncos last night. Here's the thing. I was actually rooting for Denver last night. I felt like Denver, if they beat Buffalo, it helps out the Raiders a little bit because now the Bills are tied at 5-5. And I kind of feel the same way about I'm going to root for the Ravens on Thursday for them to beat the Bengals because then if the Bengals lose, I believe they drop down to 5-5, and it makes that wild card race all that much more interesting. Congrats to Misty. Everybody show some love to Misty Williamson. Wait, we had another baby. It's a boy. That's awesome. We had another baby. It's a boy. Chugs Williamson. Mitchell Williamson. You know, it'd be kind of crazy though. My name is Mitchell William. Mitchell William Renz. Mitchell Williamson. I'm just saying. I like it. Congrats though to Misty. It's a commercial reference. Oh. I guess maybe not. I don't know. You know what, Misty? We're just gonna. Oh, actually, I think I know what commercial she's talking about. We had another baby. It's a boy. What commercial was that? I feel like it was like a beer commercial. Now that she says that. I can remember that commercial. Which one was it? You guys remember? Yeah, I remember. All right, final call here. That's it. We have 40 people in, which means winner's going to get $200. Appreciate everyone for sticking through the sickness here. I know most of y'all are down with the sickness, but we're rolling through it. Sergio, you in? Which now puts us at 41 ducks in the race. No, I don't want to do a duck, okay. I'm curious to see what you have chosen. Really, really curious. Old long distance commercial. I don't know what that means, y'all. I don't know what that means. I see Graph right now on Twitter says that the Raiders should try to go out and get Michael Carter. I mean, Michael Carter is a good running back. I mean, I think he's probably right up there with Amir Abdullah. I do think he's better than Brandon Bolden. I do think he's better than Zamir White. I think Zamir White stinks. I really do. Like, he can't hold on to the football. I know, like, the ball that he ran and got punched out, he was actually down. Somebody just asked, is Nico Laz in? I'll let Nico Laz answer that one. Mario Moreno in. Winner gets $210. This is unbelievable, the race that you have right now. So how many do you have in there? 42. 42 birds. We got 42 birds. All right, y'all. That's it. No more. Winner gets $210. Starting in 3, 2, 1. That was me scaring them. And they are off. This is actually hard to watch. Jarrett Watson out to a lead. Jeffrey Kreischer. This is actually how I was walking in Vegas Saturday night. This is what it looks like. Rob Rice up there. Sergio Torres in a very interesting spot. Luis Rodriguez down in the bottom. Daniel freaking Jimenez right in the middle. But right now, Sergio Torres, Rob Rice, Jeffrey Kreischer all up there. James Guevara in a very interesting spot. Luis Reyes. I'm telling you what, right now, I'm worried about Nico Laz because look at him. Nico Laz down there on the bottom. Nico Laz down there on the bottom. Nico Laz down there on the bottom. Could it be Jose Ramirez, Jeffrey Kreischer? Oh, man, the great tuna. Oh, I don't know. This is going to be close. Is it going to be Jose Ramirez? Is the pigeon going to have enough? Or is it going to be Chris Melendez? David Ochoa. David Ochoa. Oh, my goodness. Dude. I mean, he gets the rest. Where do the other ones go? David with the win. That was a legit race. That was kind of painful to watch, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
And I Am Punchy said Nico needs to donate. The thing is, he's in every race. That's why people are like, why does Nico win so much? It's because he does every single race. I don't think there's been
Nico
I can't think of more than 5, 6, 7 races that we've done without Nico Laz.
I mean, Nico's probably done what, Nico? 50 races at this point? 50 races?
I mean, Robert Jansen, you watch every show. How many races do you think we've done without Nico Laz? Not a lot.
All right, David Ochoa. Congrats. You are the winner of $210. And here's the cool part. That was David's first win. First win ever. But honestly, all it takes is for somebody, honestly, most time to like win their money back one time, and then you're good. So David has done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So David has put in 80. He's put in $90 in duck races. And now he just won 210. There you go.
Now he's playing with house money.
Now he's playing with house money. David, can you just let me know down below that you got it? I mean, I can show y'all. Congrats to Mr. David Ochoa. Congrats. All right, Jeremy. I got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all.
Don't forget, live Thursday night for Thursday Night Football, but more importantly, live Sunday. It's an early game, but we're doing a Raiders jersey giveaway, not a Raiders Report jersey.
Yep.
You get a actual Raiders jersey. We're going to send it to your place of living, your house, your mansion, your apartment, wherever you live. We're going to send it to you this Sunday, but you got to subscribe.
Sunday.
You got to subscribe to get it in. #RexMD.
Whew, boy. David, nice save. Got it. Thanks, guys. Awesome stuff. All right, y'all. The Raiders, they claimed Jack Jones today, and then they released Isaac Rochelle. We're going to be live. Next time you see us, it's going to be on Thursday for a little Bengals-Ravens Thursday Night Football action. Make sure you're there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to wear the Venthrak or the Eric Jasper jersey that I got. It'll be interesting. I don't know which one I'll go with yet. We'll go with one of them. And then Sunday, we're giving away a jersey, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're tuning in. Hopefully, y'all have a amazing, amazing rest of your Tuesday. So from me, from Jeremy Chuggs, peace out.